Hello and welcome to day 2 right here at PMPL South Asia 2023 Spring, where of course it continues on the mayhem, the festivity, so to say, as of course Shadow pointed out yesterday, will continue on. And of course, I'm going to be your caster for the day along with the analyst Blotter, and joining me on the desk, it is none other than Shadow. Once again, how are you doing today?
I'm really excited for day number 2 because day number 1 was full of action. Few of the big names were standing right at the bottom of the leaderboard, and some surprising names were also there that showcased a phenomenal performance. So day 2 is always full of surprises. So I'm excited for day number 2.
Oh, most definitely. Because again, as you pointed out yesterday, it was quite a lot of ups and downs that we saw between the teams, and
Yeah.
the way certain teams were playing flawless. Rather, there were certain teams with big names who were really pushed low back down in the overall leaderboard, which is something that we did not expect. But again, that was just the start. That was just day number 1, and perhaps today it will be a different storyline. At least that's what I'm expecting. That's what I keep my fingers crossed for. One of the biggest names in there for me personally is going to be Seal. But again, there are so many others as well that we can point out later when we do look at the overall ranking. But for now, again, based on day number 2, let's of course talk about how things are going to change, because now we've got the Miramar day, as I like to call it, right? We've got multiple matches of Miramar and only a few select matches of Sanhok and Erangel.
Well, certainly. Talking about Miramar, it was Team SITM who got the first chicken dinner in the map of Miramar with 8 finishes, but entirely it was NBES who dominated the Miramar.
Right.
So it is going to be a good day for NB Esports because 14 finishes in just one Miramar. So today we are having more than one Miramar. So I think this team can look for the top spot in the leaderboard.
That is really, really well said, because based on the start for just day 1, most certainly that could be the expected result, especially today being, the day where we are going to be looking at 3 Miramars. But along with all of that, of course, let's move on ahead and talk about how the schedule is going to be laid out throughout the entirety of this event, where, of course, we started off yesterday was day number 1, and that was 21st. Now, moving on to second day, it is of course today, Wednesday 22nd. The spring season continues, but tomorrow, Thursday, will be a day off for the teams before we jump into, of course, the weekend matches, the league stage week 1 matches, which is going to be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But talking about Sunday itself, I mean, all the Sundays that we're going to be looking at, pretty much, I believe, Shadow, we have that 6th very special match as well, the bonus match.
Well, certainly the bonus match is going to be on the 5th day. The 6th match is a bonus match, which only top 12 teams are going to play. So you have to make sure you're consistent in the league plays the rest of the 4 days in every single game. We have a huge prize money on the stake that is going to be 80,000 US dollars. The MVP itself is going to get 1,000 US dollars, but for every team that is going to play in the league, they are going to get 2,000 US dollars just for the attendance.
Absolutely. And as we were just pointing out, the bonus match that will be played on days 5 of the week itself, well, that is going to be a critical one, because when you talk about those bonus matches, which is of course going to be played on the map of Vikendi, the biggest factor in that is that it'll give you the boost that you need before you jump into the finale itself, right? And talking about the finals, once you start off with that sort of a massive lead, you walk away with the chicken dinner in those bonus maps, you've already got 20 points, my apologies, confirmed for yourself. But the normal weekly matches that we're going to be looking at, chicken dinner only gives you 10 points. Followed along on the second position is going to be 6 points. And then if you're third, it is going to be 5 points. So yeah, stark difference that we've seen in the point structure, from which, of course, the gameplay from the teams as well has changed quite a lot in terms of the pace of the game as well. It has changed quite a lot now.
It has changed tremendously because earlier teams never used to take initial fights, at least in the first and the second circle. But yesterday we saw,
True.
right in the start of the few minutes of the game, 2 teams were eliminated. So now teams do realize the importance of the elimination points. So they are prioritizing the elimination points instead of the placement points, which we can see in the stats of NBES Esports. In fact, a few of the teams also having highest elimination point, but only 8 placement points.
Absolutely. With that, of course, we're joined in to PMPL South Asia with 20 teams right here who have been, of course, subdivided amongst these 5 groups that are in front of us. And starting off right off the bat, of course, Group A, we are looking at High Voltage Esports coming all the way from Nepal. And again, High Voltage Esports, they've held their own really strong on day 1. Of course, they did not walk away with any chicken dinners per se, but again, it was a really well settled team play that we saw coming in from their side. And looking at the overall ranking, yes, they are not here on the, at least in the top 5, but that's absolutely fine. Day 1 saw quite a lot of ups and downs, but talking about the ups and ups, I mean, look at 4 Miracle Vibes, 4 MV. that team without a chicken dinner has accumulated 45 points and 27 elimination points, a huge chunk of the margin going in their favor. And then comes an IHC with a chicken dinner sitting on the second position.
Even the players of Leo Esports, they are right in top 4 over there with a huge number of points in their favor with no chicken dinner at all. But on the other side, we have NBES Esports who are not having the perfect balance required between the placement points and elimination points. Yes, at the start, I do agree this is going to give you a huge boost in terms of the aggression you want to portray in the game. But in the long run, you need to have that perfect balance between the placement points and the elimination points. Otherwise, maybe just because of the shortage of placement points, you might not qualify for the bonus match.
Exactly, and that is what I'm kind of worried about as well. Now, moving away from the first page to the second page is another question that I wanted to bring up. As we started the stream, I was bringing this up and thinking about it as well. So, for example, Seal Esports, right? Seal Esports is one of those big organizations from Mongolian region who've done really well in the past. This time around on day one, they played all the 4 matches and only walked away with 6 eliminations. That was all that we saw from them. But right now, let's move away from the team sitting on the second position and move on towards the head-to-head, where we've got IHC Esports sitting with a chicken dinner on the second position compared to the real soldiers.
Well, certainly the point difference is only 2 total point difference between IHC and DRS, but IHC started on a very good note by getting a chicken dinner in the very first game. DRS on the other side, the first game they played was on Miramar. It was not so good. They got 3 elimination points, but later on, the moment Sanhok came in, DRS was dominating the lobby with getting a chicken dinner and 10 finish points.
Absolutely, and again, I mean, that is the kind of play that brought them all the way to the 3rd position in the overall ranking, with that chicken dinner as well going in their favor, and only 2 points separating these two teams. So definitely today the question is going to be also, you pointed out NB Esports, right? NB Esports started day number 1 with a banger of a performance, but then as the day progressed on, they fell short. They were not looking up to the mark. As you pointed out, the consistency that was missing from their side. On the other front, Mabitex Esports did not have a good start to the day. By the time the day came to an end, Mabitex found themselves on the 5th spot, so looking very, very wonderful. But today is a brand new day, and with that, let's move on to another team to talk about, or 2 teams rather, which is going to be 4 Medical Vibes sitting up on top, going up.
Well, certainly, both these teams, they don't have a chicken dinner for themselves, but for MV, they had a better day as compared to Leo Esports in terms of the placement and the total points, because yes, there is a certain margin of point difference between both these teams, but both these teams, they had a phenomenal run on the very first day, especially Leo Esports. Right from the start, in the very first game, they managed to get 10 elimination points for themselves, and later on, their aggression didn't stop at all in any of the games.
Absolutely, and that was clearly visible as well. But right here, look, we have another team that, of course, is in the highlight that we spoke about earlier, which is going to be High Voltage. And High Voltage themselves were one of those curious teams who knew when to take a fight. And when they did dominate in a fight, they would definitely lead the charge. Then again, we talk about Leo Esports. They started off with a really good performance, but then found themselves slowly shifting down to the 4th position. And that is something that I'm sure they did not anticipate. But for MV, I mean, yeah, those guys, they are a machine. They're a bloody, blood-hungry machine is what I can say for them, because that's what they did. And without a chicken dinner, finding yourself on the top position, it definitely, you know, creates a little bit of an awe in terms of how you starting your journey in the tournament itself, in the league itself.
Looks like for MV and Leo Esports, they both have adjusted themselves according to the point structure, because there is a big change in the point structure, and they've already adapted the new point structure, and they're playing right to the requirement that is required at this particular stage. They are focusing the elimination point, at the same time they're getting the placement points as well. It's not like they're lacking behind any of those. They are aggressive. At the same time, their rotations are also point perfect. That is why they're able to be in top 5 every single time.
Absolutely, and again today we expect the same to be showcased on the side of 4 Medical Vibes as well, but also in the same exact conversation, another team that we can probably bring up is going to be Abrupt Slayers. Abrupt Slayers is another team that we kept on mentioning again and again. We know the lineup and we've seen them play earlier as well, and we always kept on questioning where were they missing, what exactly is going on and not going in their favor. But you know what, we'll come back to that, because right now we've got a wonderful news that needs to be shared with our viewers. have it. I mean, the blaster tank along with the wonderful heist. I mean, yes, and then, of course, there's so much more as well, and everybody is going to cater to a different character build that they would want to have. But it is just so wonderful that PUBG gods always try and bring in something special every season and every single year, so that we are also lucratively waiting and of course want to get everything in our bank and of course showcase it to our friends as well and get them a little jealous, and perhaps the other teams that are going to be in the battlefield and the battleground, they're going to be like, oh, okay, you know what, this guy is definitely going to be a good player because he's got so much already looking bling in the background. But alongside that, right now it is time to jump into match number 1 of day 2. In total, all the teams have played 4 games, and now start things off. We are going to be starting off, as we were mentioning earlier as well. Today is going to be the day of Miramars. So we have multiple Miramars. Start off with Miramar. Third game is going to be on the Miramar, and close the day off is going to be Miramar once again. But one thing that I'm quickly going to check is what is the group distribution going to be on day 2. Yes, it's going to be exactly the same. A, B, C, and D are the ones who are going to be starting the thing off, and Group E is not going to be playing. That means DRS Gaming, Elementrix, along with Abrupt Slayers and SITM Esports are not going to be seen in this game.
Well, certainly that Group E is sitting out, but we have Abrupt Slayers sitting out. So I'm very sure they are not going to be happy because they had that dominating performance in the map of Miramar. And okay, Abrupt Slayers will come later on. But talking about high voltage, also we had very high expectations from this team blotter, but every single time they found themselves in the good position, at least in the circle, even in the final few circles also, but they were not able to deliver the kind of a performance we expected from them or their fans expected.
So, would you say, because this is one thing that we actually skipped on, but we can definitely still give in our predictions right now itself, Shadow, would you say that you would rather go with high voltage for this first game's prediction as the chicken dinner winner team?
I want to go because look at that. The first Miramar yesterday they played, they got 6 finishes. That was the highest finishes, but they were taken out pretty early. So that means the aggression they can showcase in the map of Miramar is pretty high, but they need to focus on the placement, the rotations, everything, because something is definitely not working for high voltage. Because every single time I want to see this team in the top 5, finishing in top 5 with high amount of finish points.
Well, it seems like today we're going to be starting off with the predictions going from one region itself from you and I, because you're going to be setting in high voltage as your chicken dinner winner team for match number 1 on day 2, and I, looking at the map now, going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to go with Skylight Gaming because of the rotation that they're making from the La Cabrera region up north, and they've got nobody to worry about. Yes, Mabitex is there, but Mabitex's play yesterday, from what I noticed, was a bit more on the back, not necessarily the backbench, but it was more laid back. They wanted to understand what exactly was going on in the lobby, and then once they had every information, that is only when they moved in to take on those shots, and that is something that, of course, could maybe help out Mabitex taking a little bit of a seat back today. But overall, let's find out what's going to go down in this game itself, because right off the bat, IHC Esports, they are looking fantabulous the way they've started.
Well, certainly they are looking fantastic the way they are starting, and I agree to you the way you are pointing out that SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, they can showcase perfect rotation in this particular one. But IHC is the one that is up for a fight, and they are always up for a fight. But looks like this is way too early. They have UMP 45. They don't have the perfect armor required in a 4v4 battle in the initial stages of the game. So let's see Zoil what he can do from the window. He takes a hefty damage from the enemy, and trades are coming back and forth from both sides and both teams. No, actually it was IHC Zoil who took a lot of damage, but he was not taken down. So they have got one defeat point for themselves.
Absolutely, and right off the bat, IHC Esports. This is what we need to see from the side of this team. IHC Esports, I mean, they're always on top when it comes to the aggression. You've got Godless, Demo, Alex, Zoil. Interesting change of pace that has been showcased from them compared to how they started yesterday, and now as they progressed on to the end of the day, and now the way that they're playing, it is definitely kind of play style that we wanted from this team. And well, again, they never cease to amaze me with the kind of aggressive force they dominate their opponents with, and that is of course something that everybody wants to see from the side of this team as well. But will they be able to do so in the first game itself? That is going to be the biggest question as of now. When it comes to game number 1, it is a good start, good aggressive start from IHC. But now, based on the rotation that they're making from Montenueno, where are they gonna go? Montenueno is also, I mean, the surrounding area with the mountains all across. If at all there's another team around in the region, the IHC can very well be hunkered down in this position itself. And luckily for them, I don't see any other team as of yet.
For now, there is no other team in the close proximity. But talking about IHC, it was Godless, I remember, who showcased a very good performance yesterday with those DBA shots in the map of Miramar. Also, in the last, he did a clutch also. So definitely my eyes are going to be on Godless, because I see Zoil and Godless from the side of IHC being the star players. But let's see what's going to happen, because right now they're grabbing the necessary resources required for the later stages in the game. So let's find out what's going to happen. But talking about the prediction, I want to change my prediction now, Blotter. You cheated, so I'm also allowed to cheat. I'm going to go with T2K, because I remember in season 2 of PMPL, T2K was a team that dominated the lobby in every single time, especially in the map of Erangel also. That time they used to have a different drop location, but this time in the circle also, they are right in the epicenter. So I think T2K, they have a chance to get this one.
Well, it's going to be found out in just a couple of minutes. Well, I mean, we'll have to wait, I guess, 15 minutes, because it is the map of Miramar, as Necro calls out. The podcast hours is what we're in right now. And talking about the podcast conversation itself, Leo. Now, Leo Esports showed a wonderful start to the way that they played. They found themselves a lot of points and elimination points, and the aggressive force that they, of course, have already helped them out, secure a decent amount of points, but no chicken dinner as of yet. So today I would love to see if they can still be on that high horse, the way that they played with the aggressiveness that they showcased yesterday, and get a chicken dinner for themselves, which is going to be very, very important. Same would be my expectation from the side of 4 Miracle Vibes as well.
Even if they are not getting the chicken dinner, as long as they are having the perfect balance between the placement points and the elimination points, I think it's fine for them. There is no need to get that winner chicken dinner. Yes, it is going to award you 10 placement points, but if you're consistent in every single game, I think consistency is the key. Same goes for the players of 4MV also, who are sitting right at the top. They placed third on very first game, they came fourth on the second game. Then in Sanhok, they placed on second position, but they have perfect balance between those elimination points and the obviously placement points. So these teams are definitely leading. But in terms of the aggression that has been showcased by the players of I8 also, I'm a little disappointed, because they're getting the finish points. But yes, they are in top 12. But where are the placement points? Only 6 placement points.
Indeed, and that needs to change today. I mean, you point out I8, I pointed out Stalwart Esports. There are so many others, right? Because we've got 20 teams in total. So definitely quite a lot of them who are big names sitting on the second page of the leaderboard that we did not anticipate from them. But it's okay. On the other front, though, I do want to go back to what you said earlier about the chicken dinner winning ratio. So you and I, because we've been part of casting and, of course, analyzing the game, can definitely agree on the same thing that you said. It's not necessary to walk away with a chicken dinner. But how do you convince your fans that, dude, it's okay if you don't get a chicken dinner? Because, in the end, fans are waiting for those heated moments in the last few teams remaining, last few players remaining, and you walk away with a 1-on-2, 1v2 or 1v1 chicken dinner. And that is where the entire fan base goes absolutely gaga over the playstyle that was showcased, right? I mean, there are so many teams. There are so many teams still who are playing right here. From DRS to IHC to, so many other names that we can bring up, Stalwart. But all in all, they all want to see their team get that chicken dinner in the bag. But talking about the statistics, yes, we've seen yesterday itself that teams who got the chicken dinner but did not get enough elimination points were actually not even on the first position. They got less points compared to the teams who walked away with a lot more elimination points comparatively. So yeah, it's such a heated topic to even bring up, and it goes hand in hand. But right now, it seems like what's going to be in the hands of Mad Cat from TRZ is going to be, of course, the vehicle steering wheel, because that's all that he can control right now. He's got nobody else in his van to be able to, of course, cover fire with that aggressive spray that was being showcased. But thankfully, he was able to walk away. So nothing to worry about as of yet. One more thing to bring up is going to be the way Miramar game was played yesterday, the first Miramar. It was very, very accelerated. Now we are looking at a slow paced, not necessarily slow paced, but the way Miramar is supposed to be. That is the kind of approach that teams are slowly bringing in. They're making those longer rotations. They've understood the lobby and the drop locations, and a couple of them actually have changed that as well. But in all of that comes in this team, Seal. Oh, DE on top, sir. Where have you jumped on to? Right in the heat of the moment with 3 players from Stalwart right across. There's absolutely no way he's going to be able to do anything at all. But at the same point in time, there's going to be a trade coming in right here from the side of course, Stalwart, as well as Nirz does go down. Nirzet goes down right here. So it's going to be a 3v3 between Stalwart going up against the players of course, on top, sir. But for now, the best position right there, of course, was to be able to fall back and retreat, as Stalwart does have a higher ground. On the other side of the map altogether, towards the northern side, we've got SG taking on shots against DE.
Well, DE not having the best of the time. They escaped from the players of Stalwart Esports after facing one casualty, but walked right in front of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming and lost another player also. So the numbers are definitely not in the favor of DE right now, as they're surviving with only 2 players. The day number 1 was also not in the favor of DEADEYES guys, because they were on the bottom, and I was very shocked to see DEADEYES guys being on the bottom of the leaderboard. So looks like day number 2 first match up until now is not in their favor. On the other side, Stalwart Esports, talking about this particular team, day number 1, they started on a good note in terms of the placement points they got, but later on it was the last very game where they showcased the dominating performance from this side. So they are carrying forward the same momentum from the very last game of day number 1. But talking about the circle, T2K, they are still in a very good position, but like you pointed out in the starting, SKYLIGHTZ Gaming again showing very good rotations, having the complete control of the northern side.
Oh, but they better be careful. There are 3 colors that I can see coming in right behind them. That's going to be, of course, NB being one of them. Right next to them, as I was pointing out earlier as well, Mabatex taking that safe approach to the entirety of the game, and that actually might work out for Mabtech's favor as well, because they have the perfect control of the east and northeastern side of the zone. They can very well gatekeep NB's rotation, at the same point of time clear an even area for them to jump in towards the fights. And with that we've got a lot of action taking place right here behind the scenes, and that's going to be none other than Stalwart Action, who seem to have found out one player from Raw, as Raw once again on day 2 not having a good start. A question that we raised yesterday still continues to loom on their faces as to what exactly can they change, what exactly can they do to get away from the 20th position that Raw is stuck at.
Team Raw, during the rotation, they have already lost one of their player, and the numbers are again not in their favor. Stalwart Esports already looking very good, 3 defeat points in their favor. On the other side, SKYLIGHTZ Gaming also getting few good finish points onto the players of Team Raw, and looks like Team Raw has been eliminated and becomes the first team to bid bye-bye from the lobby with 0 points in their favor. But SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, this time they also are starting on a very good note, 3 elimination points to their favor. They have the control of the northern side. They are looking very good, but their fight is happening with the players of NB Esports, and the way NB Esports 3 players are stuck together, one grenade could result in the demise of more than one player.
Absolutely, and for now, as we progress on into this game, NB Esports, as you were pointing out, they are at the edge of the zone, edge of the circle as well as the zone, and now somehow need to deliver some massive blows to the players around them, surrounding them, and they know that there is one team, and that team, as we were pointing out earlier as well, could very well be SG. But again, Mabatex is not that far away, and NB, the way that they've approached and made their entry known into the zone, it is going to be a very tough situation once the zone moves away in the next 40 seconds from their region. How exactly do they plan on going into the safety net and away from the blues? That's going to be a tricky affair for them. On the other front, we can see the devastating blows coming in from the side of SG as they bring in Nade Parade against the players of NB Esports' Mondo. He goes down, and Mondo will be eliminated with another nade coming in from SKYLIGHTZ Gaming.
Look at the split that is coming from the side of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming. They have basically converged all the players of NB Esports from multiple angles. And NB Esports, what can they do in this situation? They have to pick up this fight. But how? How do they win this fight? That's the main question, because I can see some other teams also in the close proximity.
Mabitex. See, that is one name that I was very eagerly and very quietly waiting to see what are they going to do. Volley has gotten so close to another player from the side of SG, and now it seems like they are all going to be hunkering down the positioning of SG itself, and that could very well be the end of SG because Mabitex, as we can see, on the northeastern front of the zone, and that is exactly where the players and the numbers do dwindle down, I believe, from the side of SG. Well, we'll have to confirm that. But as of now, definitely the shots are going to be focused over there. Not entirely sure if it was SG or another team that Mavitex pushed on ahead. Because from what I can see, SKYLIGHTZ Gaming still has all the 4 players surviving. But this is a very cruel triangle that these 3 teams are now stuck in. SG, NB, as well as Mavitex.
I'm not too worried about SKYLIGHTZ Gaming because they have a hard compound for themselves. They can take this fight without overexposing themselves. But on the other side, in the esports, they're out there in the open. There are so many angles that Maptex esports can capitalize on. Even not just Maptex, other teams can also capitalize. There is chance of third party, fourth party happening, and we just saw NB esports were taking a lot of damage also. But on the other side, we have the players of Venom DE. This team also didn't have a very shiny performance on the very first day, but this time they are being the king of hills. But for NB, the dominant team, the team that showcased very good performance on day number 1, and East, well, the MVP takes down one of the player of DE Venoms.
Well, DE, they love that mountain but are never able to utilize it. I mean, we saw them yesterday on the map of Miramar again going for that mountain, but that did not favor them. On the other front, what a perfect spray that was coming in from Refuse right here from 4MV. He was not able to get the players down, but what an incredible controlled spray that was from such a far distance away. And with that in turn, the fights are breaking down in stage 4 of this game right now. Venom DE. Or DE Venom, however you say it, the ones who are holding the compound in their favor. They've got the zone, but what they don't have is points and defeat points to start the game for themselves. Along with that, it seems like 4MV have, my apologies, TRZ have troubles of their own, as they are also out in the open, being sprayed on upon. But in all of this, I just noticed where High Voltage is. Such a sneaky team this has been, and the way that they're reading the lobby, it is beautiful.
High Voltage, every single time they have a very good rotation, but look at the position of Alpha of Bad Intention. He's hiding over there, but if he comes out in the open and looks below that from the height advantage, he can certainly take down one of the player of I8. So I8 need to be cautious in this situation because their entire focus is onto the players of High Voltage at this point of time. So this fight, I'm very sure we are going to witness in a matter of few minutes. High Voltage versus I8, but somewhere else, Maptex Casey takes down 4MV1 player. Let's see if we can find the confirmation also.
Fight is brewing, and right off the bat, what a perfect controlled, I mean, the angle, the precise angle spawn coming in from Jiggle. He jiggled his way through that perfect approach, and then in turn ended up destroying Sky. Well, again, eliminating him pretty much and getting the defeat point for himself. And now it's a 4v3 situation between these 3 teams, and 4MV on the other side of the front itself, on the eastern front of the zone itself, are taking down the players of Mabitex, and there seems to be a different fight going on, and all of that is going to help out SG because they've got the compound. But again, going back to what's on our screens, it is going to be High Voltage who are still slowly trying to surround the players of Illuminate crew. But it is a slow-paced poking approach right now. I8, one good nade from their side. Oh, whoa, that's exactly what I was anticipating from I8, and that's what's been delivered from High Voltage, as that is going to allow, oh, what a perfect, this is, okay, I think cursing this. I need you to take over, Shadow, because this fight, it seems like, could be the demise of both of these teams.
This is a fight of grenades. Trades are coming back and forth from both sides through the grenades. Look at the amount of smoke that has been deployed to deny the vision to the opponent from both the sides. But again, a perfect grenade comes right on the face of Viper, and he has been taken down. And the way trades are coming in, both these teams are struggling. They are wasting away the resources also in this situation. But carpet bombing that is coming from the side of High Voltage could be the demise of the 2 players of I8, Viper and Nova, because they both are on low HP, and Viper again goes down. At the same time, Nova also goes down through the grenade of Assassin, leaving I8 with only one single man standing. That is Wolfies, and he's hiding inside the store.
Not for long though. He's going to try his level best, but is he going to be able to bring down even a single player before he falls to his demise, of course, is going to be the question right here. He's done the mastermind play right here. Jumped into the vehicle and then walked away through the monster truck. What an incredible feat that was. But again, numbers not working in his favor. And Eliminate crew get eliminated right there. But of course, that was a 100 IQ, 200 IQ play that he tried. But sadly, like I said, the numbers not going in his favor. High Voltage knew all the different angles that they had to cover. And that was just this small little compound that he could have used through his advantage. And now we go back to the fight that was taking place. And with that, IHC, a team that I had expected a lot from today, has been eliminated with just the first blood that we saw in the early moments of the game. They've been eliminated with just that one defeat point. But right now, 4MV, they are coasting the players of Mabitex. They've brought down the numbers of Mabitex. Mabitex, the lackluster approach, not necessarily, but the backseat approach, most definitely, that they're bringing into the game is just not helping them. They had such a good controlled ridge on the eastern front of the zone itself, but they knew what was going on. They did not participate, and now it's sadly a bit too late.
Well, NB Esports and Maptex Esports, they both are trying to have the control of the eastern front. NB Esports, they do have slight bridges to work around with, and right now they're trying to tip a few bullets in the direction of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming. But SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, they still have a very good position. They need to worry about a third party that might come in from the side of Stalwart Esports. That is the main concerning thing I have for the players of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming. And Mafia Ninja, with a perfect grenade, finds a knock on to Z of Stalwart Esports. At the same time, T2K Sanhok is also doing a third party, and looks like Stalwart Esports are not looking good at all in this situation, with two players down on the knees, but they are also retaliating by finding trades onto SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, but not for very long, as the last man standing was also taken down, and with that, Stalwart Esports is bye-bye at 10th position.
Indeed, they had a good run right there, but not allowed to move on ahead for far too long because it was SKYLIGHTZ who were waiting for them, and now Venom. Now, this team has been in that compound for a very long time. The compound is definitely going to be able to help them, but they are down on numbers. They've only got 3 in the compound, and no, hold on. There's another one who's trying to create a flank, and that's going to be doing only on the other side as well. So now it all boils down to how exactly are they going to be able to point out and spot out 4MV's positioning, and it seems like they are not going to be able to do, because 4MV will create an opening, will get one player down. Of course, just knock, not eliminated yet. But on the other side of the game, Leo Esports has taken shots against SG as one of their players has faltered down.
Well, certainly, Leo Esports, they're also opening things up onto the players of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, and SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, they need to be a bit cautious because the players have been knocked down too many times, and they need to be a bit cautious in this situation. On the other side, we have the players of DE Venom also getting few good knocks onto the players of the opponents over there. And talking about NB Esports, they still have the control of that particular area. They just need to be careful, like you mentioned, with the players of 4MV, because 4MV can step them in the back. That is the main concerning thing for NB Esports right now.
Absolutely, and all of these teams, I mean, majority of them, in fact, are playing through the ridges and the edges of the zone. And the Leo Esports, the team that is going to be sitting smack in the center, is the one who's absolutely going to be, walking away with a really good positioning when the zone shifts in another few minutes. But right now, talking about the ridges fights out in the open towards the edges of the zone, we've got NB Esports trying to, of course, get their wings spread, one towards DE Venom, on the other side towards 4MV. And it has turned into a bit of a stalemate situation between these. And on the other side, it is going to be SKYLIGHTZ along with High Voltage, who are going to be taking on shots against T2K and TRZ.
And trades are coming from both the sides, T2K and SKYLIGHTZ Gaming. Looks like both these teams are in an intense action against each other, as grenades are also being lobbed by Sanhok, and this time the second grenade is coming in. Can he get the second knock? That's the main thing, and looks like he's going to miss that perfect projectile. But on the other side, we have the players of 4MB also taking down the players of NB Esports, and looks like NB Esports are suffering heavily as 2 players are down. But Sanhok, with that perfect Scarlet spray, takes down 1 player of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, leaving AJ all by himself. But Nima is coming for the rescue, but they are burning the Molotov. But Sandesh also gets taken down in the situation.
Ooh, it all boils down to Mafia Ninja. Mafia Ninja is the only man surviving right now, and it's a 1v3 situation between these two teams, and it is rather a 1v4 because the way T2K is playing, I mean, they've got the thing in control, but do they have somebody else in their crosshairs? Yes, they do. It was none other than TRZ, and that is all thanks to them, because SKYLIGHTZ Gaming is going to be given a sigh of relief as they survive that punishment that was being showcased from T2K. T2K was so wonderful in that fight, but sadly, they were just not elaborate enough to cover their back end angles, and that in turn, the back end angle was taken over, and TRZ were the ones who dominated. But definitely a good fight for them, for Skylight Gaming. The numbers have dwindled down. They've got 10 defeats. All they can do is hunker down and hope for the best. But Leo Esports, sitting smack in the center of the zone once again, is the team that everybody should be worried about.
Well, certainly, look at the amount of teams that are trying to rotate and move inside the circle from the eastern front. There is definitely going to be a lot of third parties in the situation. But right before, in the east has found Assassin over there, and Assassin takes hefty damage, but somehow he's still surviving. He has patched himself up, but high voltage, they need to be a bit cautious. But on the other side, like you said, Skylight Gaming, the survival rack of T2K, the way T2K was lobbing grenades in their direction. And look at the amount of finish points Skylight Gaming are having. 10 eliminations already, and they're still running high in this particular circle because they still have the northern control. That is going to be very crucial because Skylights is the only team in the northern side. Rest of the teams are either on the eastern side or towards the southern side.
Indeed, but the only thing that worries me for SG is the numbers not going in their favor, whereas all the other teams that are remaining in the lobby, apart from Bad Intention, have all the 4 players standing, and now it's going to be all down to Venom DE, and he tries it level bet criteria, pushes on ahead, but sadly he's not going to be allowed any much control, as DE will be the one dominating, and now it all boils down to how many more elimination points can Venom DE walk away with from this area, because they need to jump, or rather move into the zone, not jump into the zone like Hulk, but the beam lining it is not going to be the way. That is exactly what they're trying through the vehicle. That's definitely not going to be the way, because there are so many teams around the vicinity that won't allow them, and in doing so, not one but 2 of the players go down, leaving just 1 man in the background, and that's going to be Riley from Venom DE, and the area is not looking good for him to even be able to give a revival to his teammates. He's trying his level best. He's got the smoke, and in through all of that, all the commotion that was taking place, 4MV, they were taking on different kinds of shots. In all of that commotion, High Voltage has pushed on against TRZ, and the nade parade being showcased thanks to the Glee suit. Malik is so very close to TRZ. Mamba and Madcat are in the background. SG pushes on and brings in a third-party approach in this entire fray. But Madcat is ready with the UMP in his hand, and how exactly is he going to be able to spray it down? No problem, he says, as Skylight Gaming get eliminated on rank 5th with 10 elims.
Well, that is a huge number, 10 eliminations in their favor. But on the other side, we have the players of High Voltage. They are potentially looking to take the dominant control from the southern side, and they are managing to do so also with keeping all the 3 players alive. In fact, 4 players alive, but the 4th player has been eliminated, so leaving only 3 players. But Leo, smoky grenades, comes in right in the face of Malik, and Malik also goes down. So the numbers of High Voltage are dwindling down. That is a thing to worry about, as Smokey also gets a confirmation onto Malik. That means High Voltage standing with only 2 men. Now the numbers advantage are in the hands of Leo Esports and 4MV. Leo being right in the epicenter is grabbing the attention, but they do have a hard compound. They do have a hard cover to work around with.
Oh, Leo is back. Leo Esports is back. The domination they started off yesterday with, they are looking forward to completing that. We mentioned it in the pre-game segment. The only thing missing from their side, if I'm not mistaken, was the chicken dinner, and it seems in this game there is nothing that can stop. There is no team that can stop them from doing so. But at the same point of time, there are still 4 teams in total that do still remain, 12 players in total, and all of them, ironically enough, have their crosshairs set up. Majority of them set up towards Leo Esports' compound. So Leo is going to get hunkered down from all the areas, and now we'll have to see, will there be a third party between this fight between 4MD and Leo Esports? And there could be an answer, and never mind a third party, because Leo is going to be able to stand tall and definitely defend the compound.
The unnecessary rush that came from the players of 4MV resulted in the demise of both the players. There was no need to rush to the direct compound of Leo Esports, and look at that, 4MV have been eliminated. They had the entire control of the northeastern front. Now the entire control of the circle, the majority of the real estate is definitely in the hands of Leo Esports. This is their game to lose. But High Voltage still having 2 players, and mind you, Blotter, both the players have not been spotted down by TRZ or Leo Esports either.
Well, I guess you spoke too soon, because Shadow, they have been spotted, and with that, Praveen goes down. High Voltage left with just an assassin in their name, and that's not going to be able to do much, because it is going to be a 4v1 situation between him and the entire squad of Leo Esports. At the other front, on top, of course, of that ridge, we do have TRZ, Madcat and his teammate also hoping to try their luck, because these are the only 3 teams remaining with 7 players in total. But TRZ, they have been very quiet. They've been very subtle in their approach, or have they? No, never mind that, because Mad Cat with the ghillie suit is going to try and enter the compound. Where exactly is his teammate? I guess he's right around the corner as well. There isn't a flank that can be created between these two. And of course, Mad Cat needs to be careful because he knows that Assassin from High Voltage is going to be hiding behind that tire. But never mind, not for long, because the Blues are going to do the job for him. Now it is a 4v2 situation. The entire fight could go in TRZ's favor, but again, numbers are going to be, of course, favoring Leo Esports. And the spray coming in from Sus right here was so very close, was able to bring down the damage to almost 30% HP. Mad Cat was up on top, but along with that, Degree was on the background, and he was able to give that cover fire. But now they're all down to almost a sliver of HP, and that sliver of HP will not last for long as Leo Esports dominate and get a perfect chicken dinner for themselves. And the game that they needed has been delivered to them on day 2, with the overall ranking pushed on to the second with 11 total eliminations, 21 total points.
Well, certainly 21 points.
Absolutely, what a play. What an incredible play that was. But in the end, I mean, of course, it was Leo Esports' game written all over, right? Because of the way they positioned themselves and the zone helping them out for such a long time. It had to be their game, and that is what they are going to be so proud of, because now they've jumped up to the second position. When the day started off, they were of course on the 4th position, and now with the chicken dinner in their bag, so to say, they've jumped up to second position. 11 eliminations from a single game, definitely a good start, but there's still a ladder to climb for them and create a massive lead, which of course has started from first game at least.
Well, at the start of the day, we were complaining how Leo Esports and 4MV, they don't have a chicken dinner for themselves. But now Leo Esports, they have managed to get it in the very first game. So it's 4MV also. Then I think 4MV is looking to get the chicken dinner in the second game. But the way Sus was providing the backline support to the rest of the teammates when the rush was made towards the 2 players of TRZ, that was very crucial, because otherwise it was impossible to charge in the direction of TRZ in that open area. So I think Sus was the MVP in that particular fight.
I definitely would agree with that. I will second that, in fact. And, you know, in all of that, one thing that I saw from the side of TRZ, of course, Mad Cat had the ghillie suit. Had he just been a little bit more patient about the utility control, you know, because he threw those nades a little too early. Had he waited for the third team, High Voltage Assassin, to go down, then there was only one focus for Leo, and that was to jump in to the positioning, to the ridge that TRZ held. And in that, his ghillie suit, I believe, could have helped him a little. The nades could have helped him quite a lot, because like you said, rushing out in the open, that is something that Leo did not once but twice. And again, it could have gone either ways, but overall, definitely a good game for TRZ, because they finished second. Not entirely sure how many finish points they got, but they were looking very consistent, and they were coming into the kill feed quite a lot many times as well. So I'm sure they're going to be happy with the way they've started the day. But there are still 3 more games to go for these teams. I mean, again, in the entire day, we're going to be looking at 5 matches, 1 game done, 4 more matches to go. Right now, let's jump ahead and have a look at the most valuable player, the MVP from this game. And it is going to be Leo's Hatem Dami. He's the man who finished. He pushed on, got finish on Mad Cat, and then pushed on to get Degree on the other end of the ridge as well from High Voltage's side. A perfect approach from his side. 6 eliminations, 4.67 MVP rating. That is a very lethal approach that he showcased right there.
Well, certainly, yesterday it was all about Sus and his teammate Smokey when the fight happened with the players of High Voltage in the very first Erangel. But today it was entirely about Haidami. Leo in itself, as a 4-man squad, all the 4 players, they have the aggressive stance. They have the aggression required in every single fight. So all the 4 players, I believe Leo Esports, yes, we need a sniper, we need an IGL, but it looks like all other assaulters because of the way they slay the players in the lobby. But at the same time, I want to talk about the players of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming also. SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, this time they had a fantastic run. But let's have a look at the top players first.
Most certainly, and I hope there is at least one player from SKYLIGHTZ, because at least one of them was the one who stood true till the end, and that was none other than Mafia Ninja, who of course tried his luck against a third-party approach in that fight as well. But right now, starting all the way from the top, it is going to be Hatem Dami, who we just saw in the MVP ranking with 6 eliminations going in his favor. And then comes in his teammate, Mr. Smokey, with 4 eliminations. On the third is going to be Mafia Ninja with 5 eliminations to his name. And then we've got 4MV, Refuse and East. A perfect, very dominating start from all of these three teams because of the way that the zone was played out, because of the way the rotation was given from them. It was all very much on point.
Well, certainly, and with the match ranking, we have Leo Esports right on the top with 11 eliminations, total of 21 points. Then we have for the players of 4MB on the second spot with 14 points. SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, I was talking with this team. The way this team survived the wrath of so many teams. First, it was Stalwart Esports, then D was also doing a third party, then it was T2K. So many teams were taking shots towards SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, but still they survived, and they're sitting right on the third position with too many elimination points.
Absolutely. And this is where we can actually bring up the pre-show segment that we were talking about, which was, of course, the fact that walking away with a chicken dinner, it's not the only thing that's going to help you out, because right now we saw SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, they only walked away with 3 in terms of the placement point. 3 in terms of the placement point compared to, thankfully, they had 10 defeat points, and that's the reason why they were sitting on the 3rd. And the team that was actually 2nd are now sitting on the 8th in the match ranking. So that is something that of course the teams are going to have to realize real quick, that they need to of course deliver some massive punches and blows once they are part of the battleground and in the lobby, because if they don't do that, and if they think that only working towards the placement point is going to be able to give them the high they need to get into the top 16 in the finale, it's definitely not going to work out.
Most definitely not going to work. Not just the placement points, not just the elimination points, because we have seen in the other events of some other game also that sometimes if you are not having the perfect balance, maybe you're not on the top. But now is it? No. First game is over, and the tough question is again prediction for the second game.
Oof, well. Interesting turn of events right here. I'm not entirely sure if the prediction has already been done, or is this going to be reset? Because IHC definitely was not something that I would have wanted as my first pick. I would have gone with Leo had I known they were going to be so good. But talking about the second game, now. So now we're going to be jumping into the map of Sanhok. And now in Sanhok, we know that T2K does really well. We know based on the approach DRS had yesterday, the Real Soldiers did real proud for their fans as well. So it's going to be a tough one to predict the map of Sanhok, but yeah, I think I want to go with DRS. DRS is the one, because now that we are going to be looking at Group E, we're going to be rather introduced to Group E. I'll go with DRS for my second prediction of the day.
You just read my mind. I was about to go with DRS. So even my prediction is DRS, because yesterday also they showcased a very good performance in the map of Sanhok. So definitely I think DRS ought to do the same today also.
Okay, so if you go with DRS, I'll switch around and I'm going to now move on along with... I've got 2 names in my mind. Either it's going to be Abrupt Slayers, or it could very well be a completely different turn of events and we could see T2K walk away. But this time around, when it comes to the groups itself, we know that Group C is playing, but Group D is not going to be playing. So that means IHC, Mabitex, Leo, and Esports are not going to be a part of it, because that's what I just wanted to confirm, that Esports was the second pick I want to have. Alright, Abrupt Slayers it is as my prediction for this Sanhok game. It is going to be a tough one, most definitely, but it is something that I do hope they're going to be able to achieve, because when you look at their playstyle as well, as the day came to an end yesterday, they were looking very good. High voltage, they need to pick up that voltage that they've got. They need to up the amperage, they need to get the wattage increased, because yes, they're able to get those rotations right, they're able to hunker down in a really good position, but then when it comes to taking on the fights, we've seen them go up and down, and that is where they're not able to get into the top 5, into the top 3. So perhaps that can change today.
I think other teams don't want it to change the big fat 0 to become 1, because your prediction and my prediction in the very first game they decided to went against each other. SKYLIGHTZ Gaming went against T2K or vice versa. So one team was bound to take an exit at that particular time, and it was T2K that took an exit. But this time, let's hope at least we get one correct prediction.
Fingers crossed. In the end, all we can do is look at the stats, and based on what the stats say, you can have an expected prediction as to this could be the entirety of the result. If we were given 3 options, I think we could actually get quite a lot of predictions right, because when it comes to the stats, it's not always focused on just one team that's going to be able to do it right. right now, I would definitely also, along with Abrupt Slayers and DRS, also want to keep the likes of, high voltage and T2K in the limelight, because they can be the ones on the map of Sanhok specifically that could deliver a massive punch to the lobby. But sadly, we're only allowed one. Thankfully, viewers, you are allowed as many as you want, and so definitely go ahead and of course do let us know, as well as the entirety of the chat know, that what team are you supporting and rooting for, and what team rather you think is going to be walking away with the chicken dinner in the map of Sanhok. Now, yesterday we saw only one Sanhok, because every single day it's only one Sanhok. But one major thing is the zone itself. Where do you like the zone to be when it comes to Sanhok, Shadow?
Towards the ruin side. Complete northeastern side, somewhere towards the bridge area, because that makes things so much chaotic, because so many rotations might be coming from the western front or from the southern side, so that makes things so much interesting. At the same time, we have a temple, we have the mountains also, and that particular little island. So I want to see a circle over there towards Hatin maybe, or towards Campo Miltar.
Oh, you spoke of all the names, but not the
Yeah.
one that I had in mind. Paradise Resort.
Ooh.
Let's take the fight to Paradise Resort, is what I say. But again, only PUBG gods can answer that, because right now the flight path has begun and all the teams are going to be moving on ahead. And with that, like I said earlier as well, Group E is going to be playing their first game today. That means DRS Gaming is in the lot, along with Intention X Esports, Abrupt Slayers, and SITM Esports. Now, SITM Esports, I'm sure they would love to start with a banger performance as well. They've got themselves very strategically spread all across the Camp Alpha Island as of now. And there seems to be no other team, or rather, High Voltage is the one team that seems to maybe be sticking around the Camp Alpha Island as well. But we'll see if at all we can expect an early fight over there or not. On the other front, towards the northern side, we do see ASL Abrupt Slayers slowly making their way towards the north of Tatmok, but right behind them, right below them, are going to be quite a lot of opponents who are going to be rooting to get the early contestation, because apart from the northern side, quite a lot of teams are scattered about. And so early moment fights, early few fights, it's looking like it's going to be a little bit of a slow start maybe. Let's see.
And there goes the circle. I wanted a Camp Alpha circle. I'm rewarded by a Kompong circle. That is what every single time, that is exactly what happens whenever I ask anything from the PUBG gods. They do the exact opposite of it.
Well,
We have a
okay.
southern eastern circle. I wanted a northwestern.
Now, you know what? The league has just started. I'm going to keep a mental note of that, and I'll keep a check. If that stat that you just said turns out to be a fact, then I know I'm going to go against you every single time, so that my prediction comes in right. But enough of being evil right now, because we need to see the evilness in the players right now. And it seems like that's exactly what is going to be delivered, hopefully from Raw this time around. Because Raw, we want to be able to see this team dominate and bring in at least a few eliminations for them side. On the other side, T2K Suyog taking on shots against the players of NB Esports right off the bat itself, and becomes the first blood situation character right there. And the fights just keep on increasing with the UMP. We've got DEADEYES guys on top, sir, once again. He's been the deadly force for DE on top, sir. Many times taken on those fights, but they do not connect, sadly. They do not give him the elimination or the defeat point that he wanted over there.
On top, sir, Shifu, sir, they are the old veterans of DEADEYE guys. They are very experienced players. I don't know what is happening wrong with the team of DEADEYE guys, why they are not able to perform. But like you said, it's just the starting. We have only had 6 games. This is the 7th game. So they do have too many games in their hands to work around with. But right now, Venom, DE, Krita is slowly crawling his way towards the players of Team Raw. But Lees doesn't know that he's being watched by some other player, and it is T2K Jane that is going to get the first blood and gets 1 defeat point also.
Against my predicted team. And T2K was my second predicted team. Oh, yo. This is so not good. This is so not right. But we shall see what's going to be the case, and we shall see what's going to be happening at the end of the game. But it seems we are going to be probably going for a rehost. We've not got a confirmation yet, but that's absolutely fine. We had a good start to the game. Perhaps things are going to change this time around, Shadow, and maybe now we could actually jump in towards the other side of the map itself if this is a rehost. We still do not have the confirmation yet, chat, so just bear that in mind, and we shall of course update you as soon as we get the update as well. But that was a really good start to the game. We had a very interesting started fight, and we had quite a lot of teams who were taking on shots for themselves, who were taking on, I mean, talk about DE on top, sir. Every single time he's the man of the hour from DE, who always is in the limelight, at least taking the aggressive force. But that is just not being supported by his teammates, or is not being converted by his teammates into a defeat point. I am not entirely sure as to what exactly is going on with DE as of yet, but it seems like the game will continue on. Yep, the technical issue or snag, whatever it was, has been cleared off. There was nothing, and we're now back in the game where Venom DE have already lost one of their players. Same is the case for Raw. No, they have started a perfect squad fight, but they do have Reaper down. They need to give him the revival, and it seems the Yetauta is going to be giving him exactly that perfect approach from Raw. And I would love to see if Raw can convert this, because the positioning that they've got, the flank that they've got created right here, is so very much against Venom DE's approach that Venom DE, they cannot even back out of this fight now.
Well, certainly, Domi can't back out from this particular fight, especially with the way Saudi with that dual 45 is rushing towards him with his teammate, and that was bound to happen. Domi gets taken down, instant confirmation also coming in. So Raw officials already having 2 finish points in their hands, but from the back lines, Krita was trying to provide the cover fire, but he was spotted down by Yeta, and Yeta instantly shuts him down. That means now Venom DE, they are left with only one player standing, and looks like he has also been eliminated by the players of Team Stalwart. And Venom DE becomes the first team to build bye-bye from the map of Sanhok. That means not a good start again, but this time your team, which you wanted to perform, Raw officials, they are having a very good start.
Indeed, they definitely did showcase a perfect synergized approach in that team fight that they took, and that in turn, of course, resulted in them getting 3 defeat points. But they've got a long ladder to climb, because they were sitting on the 20th position, and of course, the journey has just started, so to say, in the overall ranking for them. And you know what? All of that can still be kept aside if somehow you participate in the bonus match that happens, because in the end, that is what will provide you with the bonus points before the finals begin. And that is what the main agenda should be. But right now, it seems like Raw themselves have gotten themselves a little bit of a trouble with the players of Skylight Gaming, Nima. But he's the only one who is stuck here, all by his lonesome, on the edge of this mountain. And of course, he's given away the height advantage as well, because he does not have the numbers in his favor. And all he can do is just rush back behind this rock and try and just maintain the same strategic approach to run as far away as he possibly can. Not entirely sure where his teammates are, because if you look onto the top right-hand side of the map, there's only one yellow dot that we see with a very happy-go-lucky emoji on his back. I wonder how happy or go-lucky he's going to be in the next few minutes when Raw pushes on to this compound that Nima is in.
Well, SKYLIGHTZ Gaming dropped in towards the side of Bhan, a little north to where the players of Team Raw officials were, and Nima definitely heard the gunshots that were taking place over there, so definitely has done the purpose of scouting the area, getting the information and intel onto the opponent. Now he needs to regroup with his teammates, otherwise, like you said, maybe Raw officials might close in the distance. But right now in the blue, we have the players of Team I8. Last time also, in the previous match of Miramar, I8 didn't have the very best game, so this time they need to do something, because they are in Paradise Resort, and looks like there is some other team also.
Oh, there is, and they are now all gonna have to rush down low. They will have to go, because the zone is gonna be forcing all of these teams from the northern side to start making that early shift. In all of that, Skylight Gaming, once again, an early rotation coming in from the yellow dots is looking very, very good right there. But again, the map is a little too small right now. As we will move on ahead, we do have Bad Intentions on our screens. Now, look at that Bad Intentions story as well. Has not really been an eager one, because they've had quite a lot of bad luck, so to say, going in their favor. But ASL, Abrupt Slayers, they are very far north and need to start making that rotation. It is going to be, of course, SITM definitely in their zone. Of course, along with that, DE is going to be in their path as well. And Abrupt Slayers, the late rotation that they've decided to do right here, with 1,300 meters plus to go, this is not looking like the gangster approach that they probably expected for them to be able to do in the map of Sanhok right here.
Well, certainly, on the other side, we have the players of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming. AJ also getting few good finish points for himself, but right now we are in a stalemate situation. Not in stalemate, tricky situation where on top Sir is all by himself, and we have Desert also having a good compound control, but on top Sir repositioning himself time and time again. trying to confuse Desert in this situation.
And with that, on top, sir seems to have been able to get the game for himself. And with that, we are also back on your screens for just a little bit longer once again, because the game will continue on and we are going to get updated. But yeah, that was an incredible approach. Once again, DE's on top, sir, being the man of the hour, like I was pointing out earlier as well. In the fights, he's the one who's leading the charge. And that's what I was trying to figure out, that where exactly are his teammates? Where exactly is the support that he needs from the side of his teammates? And this time around again, on the map of Sanhok, the zone was so far out from so many of these teams that walking, or rather running towards the zone itself, if you've not started early, is going to be very, very troublesome. That's exactly what took place right here. We had to, of course, see DE stuck in there. We had SITM making a late rotation. We had ASL, that's Abrupt Slayers, making a late rotation as well. From the Western Front as well, there were quite a lot many teams who were not yet part of the zone. So in this, I believe SKYLIGHTZ Gaming will have a very good foundational layout right there, because they made an early shift from the northeastern side of the zone itself, which worked out perfectly for them. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see when we get back into the game. We will figure out as to what went wrong, what went right, and also during the highlights, it'll be in a clear understanding as to what went wrong as well, because Venom DE, they got absolutely slayed right there, which was something that was unexpected from them. And that
It
against
was
Raw, though.
at least Raw are having good start. They are having a good
That's
start.
true.
They're right in the circle. This could be their game, because then whenever a league play comes in, I always believe you just need one good game, and then you get the
Right.
confidence to have the same performance delivered in the coming games. So Raw officials, day number 1 was entirely not in their favor, but if this game goes in their favor, I think they'll get the confidence right back on the track, and from the next game they will be unstoppable. But right now, one other team also that had a good position in this circle is DRS, because they also dropped towards the southern side,
Yes.
and we have a southern circle, so this could again be the game of DRS.
That's exactly what I was looking at right now in terms of the overall ranking and the stats that I have. And DRS, again, I mean, they played really well yesterday as well, and they got really, really, got the momentum boost that was needed from them. Like you pointed out, you need one good game in the league days, and then you're able to get the game boosted and get the league stage boosted for yourself. And that is something that happened with DRS in the game. But now we'll have to see if that'll be the case right here or not. We are still left with 14 teams, so everything is hunky-dory. SKYLIGHTZ Gaming is still here, and so are so many others as well, I'm sure. But we are now slowly getting into the final stages of this game. There's just stage 3 that has just begun. SG is looking very phenomenal. Like we were pointing out earlier as well, they had made a rotation from the northeastern side of the map, and now have hunkered down into a compound right next to Bad Intentions. Let's see how exactly are they going to be able to capitalize in this fight and in this situation, because right next to them we also did see Raw making a rotation as well.
Well, certainly the rotations are coming in. So many teams are trying to move inside the circle from the northeastern side, but the players of T2K are in a bit of trouble, as Jane has already been eliminated in the position. Rig is right now, he can definitely find one trade onto the players of Raw officials if he's smart enough in the situation. Exactly that is going to happen, as Sandesh takes down one player of Raw officials. Yeta out there in the open gets punished instantly. Now T2K with 3 defeat points, and Raw officials again in a tricky spot, as they're left with only 2 men. Yes, they do have a hard compound, but the numbers are in the favor of T2K.
Well, the approach from T2K has definitely been really good, but now we'll have to see if they can convert that, because you see, they're coming from the ridges, they're coming from the waterline, the rotation as we call it, the rotation coming in from the waterways, and that in turn can only have few select angles that you can jump in, and this being an open field, it's not going to be that easy for T2K to, jump into a fight. And from up top, we can see that they are also getting hammered upon, as we saw Rig go down, and that was again thanks to 4M's approach being on top of that mountain. But now 4M themselves going to have to be careful, because right behind them they've got another trouble, and that's going to be the name of HIGHVOLTAGE, as HIGHVOLTAGE's player Malik is going to be able to refuse the positioning that 4MV's players were at. And what a perfect nade that was coming in from east, as he got HIGHVOLTAGE off their backs. But I don't think he's going to be allowed to give the revival to his teammates. It's not going to be an easy task, because This is still going to be a very close contestation between these two teams, 4MV versus HV.
At the same time, the blue zone is also coming in. He has to go for the rescue mission onto the fallen teammate as soon as possible because the blue is also dishing out the damage. It's stage 4, it's phase 4 circle, and they're close to 150 meters away from the circle. On the other side, because of the play zone, NB Esports wins by with only one elimination. That means only 1 point. On the other side, we have the players of Elementrix. Also, high voltage Jiggle needs to be a bit careful, or vice versa. Elementrix need to be a bit careful because Jiggle has a height advantage. He can spot the players of Elementrix very easily. On the other side, we have the players of iGate going against the players of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, where SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, one player has been taken down.
Ooh, Elementrix, Jiggle. Elementrix's player is right there. Jiggle, I don't think, has spotted him yet. He's going exactly towards the same trajectory, and that in turn could very well be his demise if Jiggle is not careful and jiggles his way through. Or never mind, I guess he does have an idea. He definitely does have an idea. He's just taken a step back right here. Of course, they need to get into the zone, but Elementrix's player right here with a perfect nade. Gimli is going to be able to bring down Jiggle, and now Malik is going to have to make his approach all the way to Jiggle, and in doing so will provide an opening for Gimli to be able to, of course, if nothing else, spray down a little bit of health and damage Malik. And on the other front, from the back lines, Elementrix's player, Gimli himself, is going to be damaged from 4MV's approach. This is a very brutal game that we are a part of right now on the map of Sanhok, and that's exactly what it turns out to be. Third parties is what the name of the game on the map of Sanhok is.
Whoa, the blessing in disguise didn't last for very long. The last player of high voltage was a little bit of relief when Gimli was taken out by the players of 4MV, but later on when he went for the rotation 4MV, all the 4 players were waiting to shoot in his direction. And high voltage again has been eliminated at 12th position, and now abrupt slayers, they are slowly and slowly crawling their way inside the circle where the players of Stalwart Esports are placed perfectly. But Gangster, what just happened? He took down not just 1, 2 players of Stalwart Esports from the blue. That is a game changer for the players of abrupt slayers in this situation. They can easily move inside the circle, and that is exactly what is happening. But without the smokes out there in the open, Sleepy has been taken down. Stalwart Esports action on a very low HP. IC has to go on the revival or towards top.
Well, that's exactly what he's doing. And look at Gangster. He's pushing in, and with all fronts blaze, and Gangster will be trying to bring down the players of Stalwart, but sadly, that will not be allowed because the health along with the blues was giving him a little too much of damage, and Action on the background was definitely the man who was able to just hold the fort down for Stalwart for that moment. But again, they don't have a lot of time because the blues have caught up to them as well. And Stalwart are going to have to make a rush and push, and thankfully they have a buggy, so once the revival is done, they should be able to. But look at this, T2K, Sandesh, I mean, this is the map for which T2K has been known earlier as well, and that is what they're trying to deliver right here, going up against the compound of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, and a perfect nade right there could have been it. But SKYLIGHTZ Gaming's AJ with the flank angle is going to be able to stop them in their tracks, and T2K's players are going to be left with only 3 as Suyo goes down, and they're part of a fight right now. It's a 4v3 situation between these three teams, and what a chaotic mess this is, because T2K, they've pushed on their luck, they've tried their level best to try and make this fight into theirs, but again, they are out in the open, and being out in the open is definitely not the way you want to take a fight, and that too with a team that has 3 to 4 compounds in their name, and they've got a flank angle covered as well, as we saw AJ from the backline from SG. EBS in your name, and that was perfect angle that he could have utilized, and that's exactly what T2K's players tried to do. But not for long as they go down. Thankfully, SKYLIGHTZ Gaming only lost 1 player. Oh, my word. And my mouth. They just lost 2 correction over there. Because No Fear and AJ are the only 2 players remaining now, because they have been third parties themselves by I8.
So many third parties are happening in this situation. Plays are coming everywhere. SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, the minute they found a hard cover for themselves, Nova was ready with his info 16 which takes down 1 player, and Action is also right in his crosses, but Action has moved to the safety. So Stalwart Esports, for now they are safe, but SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, what just happened? They have to go for the revival onto the fallen comrade as soon as possible. There is no time because SKYLIGHTZ Gaming has been eliminated, and Sky with a Molotov is burning Action. Action is burning. He needs revival as soon as possible, and thankfully his teammate is in the close proximity to come to his rescue.
Absolutely, and what for long? Again, I mean, they have been eliminated, destroyed thanks to Stalwart. And just a couple of minutes ago, we were talking about Stalwart and how they were getting punctured by ASL. But here they are back, revived, all looking good, action in top. And again, along with that, icy approach is what they bring to the fight. Only 5 teams remain right here on the map of Sanhok. 14 players in total, 4 MB. The positioning that they've got on top right here of this small little mountain is going to be able to give them quite a lot of information. And DRS's rules OG. He does not know that he has been spotted. Well, I'm sure he knows because he was getting bulleted on. But never mind that, because he was the final player remaining from DRS, as we are now left with only 4 teams remaining. Stalwart, they've made a valiant effort thus far. But now, what all can they do to take down the 4-man army of course, 4MV?
Well, 4MV, they have the entire control of the western front. They have the height advantage and action out there in the open, taking a hefty damage from the side of 4MV Apex. The gun goes in the reload, and action is going to be very thankful for that, because now he can patch himself up and stay in the game for a little bit longer. Now, big rotation are coming from the player of bad
Wait,
intention.
what?
Element of the vehicle, what just happened? They just rushed to the compound, and East was placed perfectly in that height advantage to take down both the players of bad intention.
They had some bad intentions in there, that's all I can say. That was just, I mean, it did not make any sense whatsoever at all. It was a kamikaze approach, and that's exactly what they got out of it. But you know what? There were other teammates in the background, and there were 2 of them left, and they are the ones who are now trying to convert that into certain points for themselves. They're bringing down the damage that the Stalwart's players were doing to 4MV. But now, in all, bad intentions themselves aren't left with much, because they get eliminated right here, thanks to, of course, Stalwart's final player. And that is going to be Tops. And the zone just keeps on favoring 4MV. 4MV get closer and closer to getting a chicken dinner for themselves. Elementrix, of course, they're going to be very, very happy having finished second in this game. But 4MV, 4 metrical vibes, they have done it. And what a beautiful, complete approach, synergistic approach they had in this entire game as well. Because right a few minutes ago, when we joined in with them in the final moments of the game, they all had just 1 elimination point. And now by the end of the game, they're sitting at 10 eliminations. And of course, along with 10 points from the chicken dinner and a total damage of 1700, they are going to be solidifying their overall ranking on number 1 with 20 points. What a game on the map of Sanhok this was. Yes, there was a little bit of kerfuffle that was being showcased from the starting of the game itself, where we saw Venom DE get eliminated thanks to Raw, which was again legendary from their side, of course. As we push on ahead, it was, of course, another moment. The Abrupt Slayers team, who were almost annihilated, come in from the blues, take down such a big name like Stalwart, but Stalwart's one final player, Action, is still part of the fight and takes the entire squad down, and then gets the revival done to push on ahead. I mean, yeah, there were just so many individual moments that stand out from the Sanhok game.
Sanhok is always like this. It's chaotic, it's confusing, and so many aggressive solo gameplays come from so many individuals every single time. And this time it was from the players of Stalwart Esports. But the way for MV, they managed to have or keep all the 4 players alive till the very last moment and keep the entire control of the western front of the circle, led them to have that beautiful chicken dinner for themselves.
Absolutely, and that is what we, and I'm sure the fans wanted as well, and that is what has been delivered right here. But in all, again, this is just 2 games done for the day. We've still got 3 more games remaining, off of which there's only 1 Erangel and 2 Miramars. Now, Miramar completely changes the pace of the game, but also, of course, brings in some crazy rotations and ludicrous plays that we've seen, and a bloodbath that by the end of the game it turns out to be. So still a lot of changes that I'm expecting on the overall leaderboard. But one thing is certain, I mean, 4MV, they are here to dominate. And it is looking very difficult for any other team to try and stop them in their tracks, because they just keep on increasing their lead and sticking to the top position of the leaderboard.
Well, certainly at the start of the day, we were talking that 4MV and Leo Esports, they are not getting the winner chicken dinner, and we were like,
Right.
consistency is the key. Chicken dinner is not required, and looks like they're replying to us that, dude, chicken dinner is required, and we are going to deliver it. In the very first 2 games, both these teams get a chicken dinner for themselves. But talking about the MVP, it is going to be East with 3 elimination and 475 damage.
Wow. I mean, 3 limbs, 475 damage. East from 4MV is the MVP. So that means it was definite bloodbath right there in the map of Sanhok because of the way the teams played, because of the way each and every other player who was in the battleground, jumped into the action. Because if you're only walking away with 3 limbs and get awarded the MVP, well, definitely that means all the teams were part of the fights, and good fights that is, of course, which of course brings the numbers a little bit of further down than what we've seen earlier, because earlier we've seen 7 eliminations, 6 eliminations, but whatever the case be, 4MV's East is the MVP with that stat, and along with that, of course, they ought to feel proud and happy because they are the ones leading the charge in the overall ranking. They are the ones who are leading the charge in the elimination feed, as well as, of course, the standings as well that we'll look at later. But right now it is time to go ahead and have a look at the top players that we do have to talk about right here from the game. East is going to be leading the charge as the MVP, but oh, whoa. Interesting. All the players that we do have right here from, of course, ASL, we've got Sleepy, Stalwart's Action, 4MV's Doc, and then Stalwart's Top. All of them have completed or eliminated 3 individual players by themselves. So it all boils down to the survival time that you had. And of course, along with that, then comes the damage as well. And that in turn has provided all of them looking very synergistic in terms of how the Sanhok game has gone for them.
Well, Sanhok is always aggressive, and getting high survival time in a map of Sanhok is not so easy. Keeping all your 4 players alive is not so easy because so many snakes are there hiding in the foliage of the Sanhok map, so it's not always easy. But looking at the match ranking, we have 4MV right in the top with 20 points. Then we have Stalwart Esports showcasing a fantastic performance in the map of Sanhok with the total of 14 points. Elementrix this time, they're also showcasing signs of improvement, 8 points to their name. Not too many elimination points, but good placement points. Abrupt Slayers relying heavily on the elimination points, 7 eliminations and 0 placement points.
Well, of course, their intention wasn't that bad, but it was Stalwart that stopped them in their track. On the other front, as we move towards the second page, we have, of course, SHEM Esports on the 15th position, not having a good start. NB Esports, I mean, was it just like Alice in Wonderland day number 1 for NB Esports, the way they played on day 1 yesterday? Because since then, I've seen them just fall down and down in terms of their approach to the game. Maybe I keep my fingers crossed. Hopefully that's not the case. But from what I'm looking at, from what the stats clearly say, it is leading towards NB not looking too good on day number 2, and their gameplay certainly faltering down rather should be the word.
Well, Blotter, we have seen this time and time again. One particular day or one particular week, a team is dominating and getting double-digit finish points for themselves. But right cut to next day, they're falling down because the opponents have a read onto
Exactly.
you. When you're grabbing all the limelight, definitely the opponents are going to come with a read onto you. They're going to cut your rotations, and that is exactly what is happening with the plus of NV Esports today.
Indeed, and that is happening with so many other teams as well, as in fact, right? Because I've still yet to see where Seal Esports is missing. Of course, from this game, they were entirely missing. Their entire group was missing. But right now, it is time to, of course, go through the highlights and recap all the chaos that took place on the map of Sanhok.
Well, certainly, Abrupt Slayer Sleepy, this guy yesterday, he was having the highest finish points, 9 finishes just to Sleepy. Abrupt Slayers in the map of Miramar, they showcased a very dominating performance. This time again, they tried to do so, but that was not the moment when they should have fired shots onto the players of Stalwart Esports, but that was a do or die situation. Either fire shot or either be the victim of the blue zone.
Indeed, and that is what the game is. That is what Battleground does to you, right? And not always is it going to be something that will favor you. But one thing, or rather one team that stands out in all of that conversation is going to be High Voltage. That particular team, the way they make those rotations, the way they're able to always stand true and tall no matter where the zone is going is commendable. But I wonder if they'll be able to do so in the upcoming game, because now, today, day number 2 is the day of Miramar. So that means after having done Sanhok, now we go back to the map of Miramar, and this time around we do not have Group C. So Group C, we don't have Stalwart Esports, SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, Illuminate Crew, and NB Esports as well. Okay. So this is where I was just drawing the line for NB Esports, right? Because first things first, day 1 looking very good, slowly falling down, and now on day 2 itself, things have not risen. In fact, your opportunity of the number of matches you're supposed to play is going down as well. So tough luck situation that NB Esports is going to have to face on day 3. But for now, of course, let's move on ahead and have a look at the overall rankings, which is, of course, the storyboard, as I like to call it. And look at that, 79 points to 4MV. That is bonker amount of accumulation with the lead that they're creating. But on the other front, look at the 20th position, Seal Esports. 5 games played, 6 eliminations. This is not right. This is not right.
Well, certainly, Seal Esports in South Asia wildcard they placed second and showing this kind of a performance
True.
in South Asia fall 2020, spring 2023. This is something is very shocking. Even the plus of Deadeye guys, they are placed at the 18th position. I didn't expect at all from the veteran players from such an old organization that they are on the bottom of the leaderboard. So I'm just going to hope they're going to do a comeback at the later stages, maybe on day number 3 or maybe right in this game.
Indeed, I mean, like I keep on saying, fingers crossed, though, right? Because invited teams, if we talk about Deadeyes guys as one of those invited teams, right? So they need to actually be able to deliver once they've got that sort of a punch. But it seems like it is time for the age-old question to be asked again. For Game 3, we're going to the map of Miramar. What team are you going to be anticipating walking away with a chicken dinner? I'm going to go with High Voltage this time, just hoping that they are able to get the bunch for themselves.
And I'll go with SKYLIGHTZ Gaming. I think SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, they might go for a big victory because last time in the map of Miramar, they had a very dominating performance. They had double-digit finish points for themselves. So SKYLIGHTZ Gaming are also one of those teams that ought to have a chicken dinner for themselves in the map of Miramar.
True, and of course, the question is all going to be raised towards can they do so? Can they do so or not? And if they can, well, they better be able to deliver it in style. Because from my side, I will definitely want to say that now it is high time for High Voltage to deliver. And again, fingers crossed for your team as well, Shadow.
Well, SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, I hope they get this one. Last
Let's
time
hope
they
so.
missed it. I hope this time
They
get
were
it.
close. They were very
Yeah.
close, right? They walked away with 10 or 11, I believe 10 eliminations is what they got before they got eliminated themselves. And Mafia Ninja went on ahead to get the domination. So hopefully this would be the game that he can dominate again. But it all boils down to what are they going to be able to do? Because now it is time for Miramar once again. And look at that. This is going to be Miramar, where Group C is not participating. That means, once again, to confirm for our viewers, Stalwart Esports, HIGHVOLTAGE Gaming, Illuminate Crew, as well as NB Esports are the teams that will not be participating in this match number 3 of day 2. Whew, okay. Now, quite a lot of said, quite a lot of things that we've expected. One beautiful thing that has actually happened now is the change of pace from the teams as well. And how teams have now, on day 2 at least specifically, slowed down their approach a little bit compared to how day 1 was. In fact, on day 1, we were talking about, me and Necro spoke about it, how Miramar itself was such an accelerated game. But on day 2, things have taken their natural course and things have kind of slowed down a little, which is a good thing. But now, there are a few teams like we've been talking about who need to showcase that perfect synergistic approach for themselves, need to rise up to the occasion and get the game in the bag. And Raw has started to do that. I just hope Seal Esports gets the opportunity to do so in this game.
Well, fingers crossed. We are all hoping to see a comeback from the side of Seal Esports, Deadeye guys, and all the teams who are right on the bottom because we want to see the best performance from every single team. We want that nail-biting finish. Who are going to be the top 12 teams qualifying for the bonus match? Because if it's so easy to distinguish that these are the teams performing, these are the teams not performing, that doesn't bring the fun. That doesn't bring the excitement of PMPL.
Absolutely, and of course, when it comes to PMPL, this is just PMPL South Asia Day 2, so the excitement has just begun. Of course, we're part of it, so we always anticipate the best of the best start for every single team, every single time, every single season that we bring ourselves into. But we know, Shadow, it does get chaotic mid-phase, right? I mean, this is just week 1 has just started, but mid-phase, roundabout week 2-ish, right? That is when entire fiasco changes and completely new teams start rising because they understand the lobby, they understand the rotations, and they understand the drop contestations as well.
No, totally agreed. Because I see all the old veteran players or the old veteran organizations not able to perform this time up to the expectations we are having or the fans are having. On the other side, there are some new teams, new faces who are showcasing such a tremendous performance that maybe in future they are going to be the favorites of their region. So anything can happen. But talking about the flight path, like you said, it is going all the way from the side of Campo Miltar towards the side of Los Leones. So that means the teams that like dropping in towards the western side, they might have to glide a bit longer. We know Skylar's Gaming, they like to go somewhere towards the side of La Crobreria, but let's see where they're heading. Or are they sitting out this one?
Well, let's see. Right now, in the early moments of this flight path,
Oh
it's
yes,
just dots, it's just like
Skylar's Gaming is
ants
not
roaming
even
around.
playing.
Right? That's what I was going to bring out, because I was going to I was going to turn the conversation in your favor, because it's so difficult to spot out, and these are just small little dots and colorful dots who are roaming around. And in all of that, of course, Group C is not going to be playing, so it's going to be tough luck to find Skylight Gaming in there. But in all of that, look at the beauty of this zone this time around. The teams have decided to stick around in pretty much the same region. The zone is pretty much in the same region, apart from, of course, the 4 to 5 odd teams that are towards the northern side. We've got Mabtex towards Torreamuda. Campbell Melitar has been taken over by Seal Esports, and then as they make their rotation down south, they are going to be caught on with IHC as well as DE as well. But apart from that, all the other teams are very much in close proximity of the zone, so it is definitely going to be a good thing. But the early moments of the game, that is where we know for a fact things get chaotic, because when you are just slowly parachuting down, you're always looking around as to where are the other players at, where are the other teams at. And so early contestations from this game at least seem a little far-fetched right now, because all the dots have scattered themselves. So no fights to be seen, at least as of yet. So podcast hours begin. Shadow.
Well, certainly, this is the time when teams are focusing on the resources, because you need to have those smokes, the grenades, those level 2 armors, and those best weapon when you're engaging in a 4v4 fight. But right now, High Voltage, they are in a very close proximity to the players of Abrupt Slayers, and Abrupt Slayers, Miramar is definitely one of their strong game. But IHC, last time even IHC was not able to perform or live up to the expectations of their fans. In the very first Miramar, they had to face an early elimination. So this time might be they would be looking for a change in game. This time they are towards the side of El Hazar. They need to be a bit careful, because too many rotations might be coming in from the northern side.
Exactly. And that is something that either IHC can choose to gatekeep, or they can choose to backstab. But that is something that IHC does not favor towards, right? I mean, these are the run and gun type of players from what we've seen. So IHC is, the Rambo in the lobby many a times. And that is the reason why if they have a good game, they have a really good game. If they do not have a good game, like the previous one, which was the first game of the day, they ended up walking away with just 1 elimination and 0 placement points. So that is the kind of ups and downs that IHC, the team, has showcased thus far. But again, this is something that has been spoken on day one as well, between you and I, as well as Necro and I, that IHC has seen a little bit of change in terms of the squad as well. So that in turn actually makes things a little bit more complex. Based on what we knew from IHC earlier and what they are playing with right now, the lineup has changed. So trying to find your ground and creating that synergy, it does take a little bit of time, and that is what we've seen thus far. We've seen that result of the change in the lineup. When the game goes good, it goes really good in their favor. And when it goes bad, well, sadly, we've seen that as well.
It's going bad for one particular team that I know is Bad Intention. That rush that came from their side with 2 players taking the vehicle, rushing towards the compound to have a hard cover for yourself, that was unnecessary. And that is where Stalwarts capitalized, and they lost the numbers advantage. Otherwise, Bad Intention, up until that moment, they were having a decent game. But their misery is not ending. Every single time they're not able to perform at all. But on the other side, the consistency that is coming in from the side of 4MV is impressing everyone.
4MV, they're on a high horse. There is nothing that can stop them in their tracks from the looks of it. There is no team that can stop them in their tracks, because the reason I was bringing up NB quite a lot in the previous game's post segment was that I expected NB to be the ones who would maybe rise up to the occasion on day 2, based on the playstyle that they brought in on day 1, that maybe they would be the ones who would be roughly around the corner to try and, backstab or stop 4MV's boost in terms of the points that they've been able to accumulate. But that's not been the case. IHC they've got troubles of their own, which they are still trying to kind of figure out. So for now, the entirety of this battleground kind of is open playing field for the likes of 4MV to mess around in, and that's what they're doing gracefully.
Oh, look at Krita. Venom D, they're not having the best of the time. Krita is definitely not in the best spot right now. He's very close to the plus of T2K. Yes, Sandesh and Rick, they have no idea that Krita is in such close proximity, but Rick has a hard compound. And the vehicle is about to turn turtle for Domi. The direct rush comes in from the side of GE Venom, and Sandesh gets taken down.
Well, a perfect approach right here coming in from the side of Venom DE, because they need to play this sort of a run and gun approach right here, and that is what they've done to the compound of T2K, where T2K's players knew none the wiser. They thought they had only one player to worry about. Well, the entire squad of Venom DE pushed on ahead, and in doing so, they have really taken on this compound by force. But have they done so yet? So they've only taken down 2 players, which means that there is still 2 looming around, and we can see them far in the distance. T2K, so Yog, along with his teammate, is still going to be able to maybe give a retaliating reply. Probably not, actually. They're too far away. They're probably going to try and just survive and survive to fight another game, another fight altogether right now, because Venom DE, they've got all 4 players, they've got the compound in their favor, and right now it seems like a cat and mouse chase being played between DE and one player of 4MV. No,
But
TRZ,
on the other side,
apologies.
TRZ Mamba, we have he's keeping his crosshairs onto the players of Deadeyes. Deadeyes not having the best of the time. TRZ also not having the best of the performance, but still decent than DE. They both have a compound to their name. Talking about the resources, they need the secondary loot, because I don't see too many medkits onto Mamba. At the same time, even the armor, they are having level 1 helmet, level 1 vest. That is not something they want, so they need the secondary loot for themselves, maybe through a fight or maybe by looting the secondary compounds. But in the Los Leones, we have the plus of SATM. They have the entire control of Los Leones, but time and time again we have seen Circle throw a curveball, and it never ends up towards the city of Los Leones. So let's see where the Circle is going to go this time. Maybe towards the southern eastern side. No, it's going to take a concentric shift towards the side of La Bendita.
I'm liking this. The Circle is actually forcing these teams who are going for the late rotations to jump in and get gun blazing kind of an approach into the game, because that's not what we saw on day 1. Day 1, we saw the zone in every single map that we moved on ahead from taking curveball shifts, but this time around, this is the first time that it's actually doing the concentric shifts itself continuously, as it used to do back in the day. So the change in pace of the way PUBG gods are actually choosing to let the game be played out in the battleground is something I'm adoring. But let's see how the teams are going to adore this or not, because after all, that means that more fun for us, more fights for us, but that much more chaos that the teams are going to be part of. And in that, being consistent, being communicative becomes very, very important. And that is something that I've been saying time and time again has been missing from DE's players.
Well, a nice shot of M24 is coming from the side of Shifu sir, and looks like Demo has taken a lot of damage. At the same time, Alex has taken a body shot, because of which his HP has been reduced to 50%, and Demo gets taken down. But Turu loves sir, and now it's C. They need to be a bit careful, because reviving your teammate out there in the open is not going to be so easy. At the same time, Alex needs to make a quick escape from the situation, because Demo is gone. There is no chance to save him with the vehicle explosion. Confirmation is also coming in on the other side. Well, Deadeyes, they are still in the close proximity to the plus of TRZ.
Oh, they definitely are. And from the looks of it, it seemed like TRZ's players were trying to chase them down. I'm not sure if they will do so or not, but it definitely seemed like they were very eager to get into the compound, at least that's for sure. But I want to go back to this fight and the way they took it, right? I mean, they can see clearly that as guys are the entire squad is right there. You know, they're in 2 individual vehicles, and they've got the entire squad, and they're ready to take on the fight. And IHC decide to stop in between the road, not even have the cover of the vehicle. be flamboyant enough to just stand without a cover and try and take him down, which is where, of course, Alex was hurt, and of course, they lost on their teammate as well. So IHC, again, they're going to have to tone down maybe the over-aggression that we at times see from their side. But on the other front, of course, now we move on ahead with HV, High Voltage. Prabeen is in action with the UMP in his hand. He's been able to bring down Refuse from the side of 4MV, if I'm not wrong. And of course, that was just a knock. And elimination is still yet to be confirmed and in order, hopefully right around the corner. But with that Doc, he can hear the vehicle running away, and Prabeen is not ready for that. He's going to spray him down with the 4X. He's going to mow him down, and he had an opportunity there. He was in an open vehicle, but nevertheless, it seems now the hunt is on for the fourth and final player for High Voltage, as 4MV has been stopped in their tracks, at least in this game. They've already lost one of their players, but thankfully the other two, or I believe three, are going to be able to still continue on fourth.
Well, they are already moving inside the circle. That's a refuse. The confirmation has been already made. So yes, for MV, they have lost 2 players, and High Voltage, they are looking very strong. They have all the 4 players in the game, but they need to be a bit careful because inside the circle 4MV, Apex is waiting for the players of High Voltage, and Apex has a slight idea where exactly Prabeen could be. He can get the sound of the vehicles, so he's just waiting patiently for the players of High Voltage, or just hoping to get one knock onto Prabeen or maybe onto Jiggle. But I don't think he has the right weaponry in his hand to take down players from such a long distance.
Let's see if he decides to do that also or not. Doc 922. Along with, of course, his teammate with a Scarlet in his hand. Apex is trying his level best. He's trying his luck, of course, but Prabeen is right around the corner, and the nade that he's cooking is going to be looking real good, but it seems like he's just out in the open a little too much. And High Voltage has jiggled his way through to get another player of 4MV down. I was questioning it. Which team will be the one who will stop 4MV in their tracks? And it seems High Voltage in this game definitely are bound to make it happen, because they've brought down 3 of the players from the side of 4MV, and only 1 player is remaining. So for 4MV, this has not turned into a good game, as Doc is the only player surviving as he gets closer and closer to the urban city of Los Leones. But along with that, High Voltage, what a perfect start to the game. Though, I shouldn't get too happy about it. There are still 16 teams remaining. High Voltage has a lot to do if they are to give me my prediction right.
Oh, the prediction? We still have the big fat 0. I'm used to it, but never mind. This time I'm hoping. I predicted a team. Am I allowed to predict a team at this stage? Because all the 16 teams are still in the lobby.
Well, that is something that we'll have to talk in the green room with production, I believe. But as of now, our votes are set. And now it all boils down to how the teams are going to do.
All the 16 teams are there, Plodder. Come on. All the 16 teams
4
are
MV is
alive.
lost. 4 MV is lost to the cause, pretty much. Only Doc remains. And again, it seems like High Voltage, they're on a hunt. They definitely seem to be on the hunt to try and bring him down. But IHC, another team that, of course, I would love to have a really good day number 2, are yet to, so people say, come online, you know? I mean, they are online, they are playing, but they haven't really activated their godly gameplay that we've known them for.
Well, certainly, IHC, the way they were dominating the lobby on the very first day, that is completely missing on day number 2. Maybe they are being a little cautious because, yes, they don't want to face a similar thing which the players of NV Esports are facing right now. So, day number 2, they are being a little cautious. Maybe day number 3, we'll see IHC back again in the form with the same dominating performance, because day number 2 is always full of surprises. Just waiting which team is bringing what on the table on day number 2. So, IHC, they're just playing along the zone. Right now they are somewhere on the periphery, 50 meters close to away from the circles. Not a bad position to be in. On the other side, we have the players of SITM taking the players of High Voltage, and looks like Jiggle has been eliminated.
Ooh, this is going to be difficult. This is going to be a difficult zone as well. See, we're slowly and steadily closing in towards Los Leones itself. So that means it could very well be leading us towards an urban finish. And we know in an urban finish, things go very, very wrong and chaotic. You might think you have a compound, and you might think that you are looking pretty good, but suddenly the zone moves ahead and takes a different shift, and then the building becomes your grave itself. But anyways, we'll come back to that later because right now it is going to be High Voltage's Assassin who has spotted down SITM's player Desert. He knows exactly where he's at, but one thing that Assassin needs to be more careful about is that SITM's one player is what he noticed. The other players are still up top on the mountain, and the mountain ridge will provide such a good cover fire if High Voltage is not careful.
But right now, my worry is for the players of IHC and DEADEYES, because DEADEYES, one of the players, Shifu sir, is down on the knees. He's crawling his ways towards on top sir, looking for a rescue mission or a revival. And looks like it's going to be an easy revival. On the other side, the players of IHC, they still have a hard compound to their name, but Zoil is already closing the distance. He has information exactly where the players of DEADEYES are, but he's not over committing in this fight. That's a very good thing, but a grenade comes from the side of Godless, takes down Shifu sir again, second time.
Indeed. And now IHC is Godless. We'll bring another smoke. Deploy, try and cover up. And with that, Seal out in the open. What exactly were you doing, Arrow? Thankfully, Godless was not able to get a perfect headshot, and that in turn is going to provide. Well, never mind that because he's got another one in his crosshairs, and that's going to be True Love going down from the side of DE. This is the aggressive punch that IHC packs every single time they jump into a fight.
And courtesy to Godless.
Yes. True.
Because it was Godless grenade this time again that created an opening by taking down Shifu sir.
Absolutely. But for now, again, I mean, IHC Godless, he's given away the position of him and his teammates, not only to DE, but also to Seal, though. And Seal, if they've got the crosshairs, as Arrow was looking towards Godless's position in the compound, they could very well hunker them down and not allow IHC to get away from this area. But will that be the case or not from Seal? Because the approach that Seal has had thus far is also not the most aggressive one yet. They've been a little passive in terms of the way that they've approached the game. So never mind that. Elementrix are on the other front though. Gimli pushing on ahead with a DABS in his hand. Is going to try and take down the players of DRS. Killer YT, he goes down, and with that, Gimli, he just pushed on a little too far off, mate, and you get what you sow and reap, and that is exactly what happened. And right there, he was moving on ahead with a DRS in his, with a DBS in his hand, and the thing has shifted about where now DRS has been eliminated, and the team of Gimli is going to push on ahead with 4 elims going in their favor. We still are left with 13 teams. There's still so much chaos that has yet to ensue. In just another 10 seconds, we're going to be faced with stage 6. So the zone's going to be constricting. The blue's going to be catching hold. And Elementrix, they're going to be they're going to have to be very swift to get into the zone.
Well, certainly, but look at Chari taking the advantage of the foliage of Miramar hiding in the bushes. The opponents have no idea exactly where Chari is, but Chari also needs to be a bit careful because if he's in the rendered distance, maybe he can get spotted down. But on the other side, we have the players of Raw also getting taken down by the players of Team Leo. Now Sleepy slowly moving towards the players, but he needs to run back. Because Elementrix, we have the players of the Abrupt Slayers also. Then we have some other teams also in the close proximity. So Abrupt Slayers, definitely this is not the position to be in for a very long time. They have to be very careful, especially when you are up against a very strong team that is Maptex Esports. Now Maptex, well, they are making their way towards the circle.
No, they're least interested in the fight, in the battleground. Maptex tries to just roam around the fights and get into the zone and try and survive for as long, and then they try and of course capitalize the situation, which of course has worked out for them yesterday as they finished in the top 3 to the top 4 from what I remember. But it does not always work in your favor because the leaderboard points are still being accumulated mostly by the teams with the eliminations, highest eliminations, and that is something that SITM's players this time around, the way they've positioned themselves, are looking very good for. But we'll have to see if that will be the case or not, because the zone till now is favoring them. If it moves away, then it could be very well troubling for SITM as well. But for now, they've got the opportunity to, of course, capitalize on as many openers that they can spot on. And ASL, Abrupt Slayers, they were trying to make a run for it. They were trying to make a rotation out, but they know now the mountain up top is taken on by an opponent, and that is going to be SITM's Giro. So it is going to be a very difficult position for ASL to even get out. But we'll come back to that right now. We do have another player of SITM, QB, with a mini in his hand. Mini 14 taking on shots, and what a perfect connection right there was. Just the wrong timing that Bad Intentions player had to sneak out and just got popped in the head.
Well, certainly Bad Intentions, they are pretty much pinned down behind that rock area. They do have the vehicles to resort to in case a rotation is required, and it is certainly required because from that particular position they can't take a fight, they can't survive for a very long time. On the other side, we have the players of Venom also getting taken down, and IHC has opened things up against the players of Elementrix, and looks like Elementrix is the one falling down as Astra has also been knocked down. That means Elementrix, only with 2 players standing, they have to go for the rescue mission onto the fallen teammates. At the same time, they have to make sure the distance between IHC and Elementrix has not been closed down. But right now we have the King of the Hills, that is going to be SITM. They have too much information onto the opponents, but looks like Frag is going to retaliate and take down Zoel over there, but Alex is going to take down Frag in the trade.
Well, a perfect trade it definitely was, but it seems now Alex has a lot to do because he has to, of course, first things first, go ahead and help out his teammate and get that revival. Alongside that, he's going to now have to be a 2-man squad and try and take down, of course, the opponents. And in the opponent's name, the first one that comes up is going to be Gimli, who's up on top from the side of Elementrix. And in doing so, the position advantage that Gimli had has resulted in him being the one who has eliminated IHC. And now going back to the fray that we were part of earlier, high voltage against SITM. We saw Desert being so very close to the positioning of high voltage, but never mind that. SITM, they have the perfect ground advantage right here because they are looking at so many individual angles and spotting around so many players. Sadly, they're only getting the damage though. They've only got 2 defeat points confirmed. But that's okay. They've done a lot of damage, and that damage in turn is going to be helping them out in the later part of the game because they are forcing the opponent teams to take on those utilities and take on the first aids, which is going to be helping them later. But for now, we're only left with 10 teams remaining, 26 players in total.
Well, certainly 10 teams, 26 players, and SITM potentially looking to dominate from the southern western side. They have the height advantage, but they also need to be careful of the circle because maybe the next circle might not be in their favor, and when they have to come down from that big mountain, then it could be a challenge for them because Maptex Esports, 2 players are waiting for them on the lower ground. But on the other side, Zero has spotted down Kisi of Maptex Esports, and Kisi has taken a hefty damage. On the other side, we have the players of Venom also picking a few fights and good knocks onto the players of TRZ, and TRZ is standing with only 1 man, so that means TRZ are in a bit of trouble right now.
Oh, TRZ definitely are in a lot of trouble. Same could be said for the players of Raw as well, as they're left with just a 1-man army, and behind... well, never mind the 1-man army as well because he will definitely be brought down, and in doing so, they get eliminated. 9 teams in total remain. SITM still, the zone is favoring them. The position they have is favoring them. And Mabitex Leo, he tried his luck. He tried to get away from that area, but now, of course, was spotted by Dobu. And they do not want to give this position away. I mean, of course, SITM, they should be spotted on from so many different angles and so many different teams. But none of those teams have been able to bring down even a single player of SITM as of yet. Oh, my word. There we go. Jiro goes down. And in doing so, of course, now this will put a little bit of a handbridge on the aggressive force that SITM have been in the past 5 to 8 minutes in this lobby. But after, of course, getting Jiro up, we'll have to see where the zone is going to be shifting the position of SITM to. Because as of now, the zone is going to be moving ahead. And with that, 4MV Dok comes into the play. He's just a 1-man army, but the 1-man squad has been able to not only bring down 1, but 2 of the players of SITM and bring them a lot of bad luck right there. With that, High Voltage has been provided the opportunity and an opening where Prabeen and Assassin, the 2 players are going to be jumping in ahead, but we know that HV has 3 players. High Voltage has 3 players. So the flank angle has been taken on by Malik, and Leo's Liquid is going to take care of Malik as Malik goes down. Sadly, Prabeen along with his teammate Assassin is not going to be able to do much to help out their teammate. But what they can do is bring in a little bit more of damage right here. And that is going to be 4MV's player that they will try and bring down. And in doing so, they have eliminated 4MV. But in all of that, they've also lost out on another player, Malik. Jiggle was already lost to the cause as they were down south in the compound. So the numbers advantage have been taken away from High Voltage, but look at Venom DE. They are looking very much in control of this game with 7 eliminations already confirmed for their side. 3 players still standing and surviving. Mabtex's final player. It's a 1v1 situation, 2v1 situation. My apologies over here between High Voltage and Mabtex. A lot of damage was pushed on towards Mabtex players, but from the other front, it is going to be Venom DE who will bring down a herd and a lot of damage to Assassin from High Voltage as he goes down, and Prabeen not looking too good as well. This might be the end for High Voltage.
Well, this could be, but right now, Abrupt Slayer Sleepy is lobbing grenades towards the side of Maptex Esports and it has taken down one of the player. And Sleepy gives the confirmation also onto Baron, leaving Leo OP all by himself in a little attack area. And the way grenades are coming towards the side of Leo, it's very difficult for him to come out of the situation, especially in a 1v3 situation. Yes, he does have a height advantage, but he doesn't have the numbers required to go for a fight against the players of Abrupt Slayers. Leo OP is also going to retaliate with a follow-up grenade, but he's not going to get any value out of it. But somewhere else, the players of SITM Esports, they were making so much noise that they grabbed the attention of so many teams. That is why they have been eliminated at 7th position, but not too many elimination points also to their name. On the other side, Maptex, Leo OP, he needs to heal himself, but he has got nothing. He has got no healings and no resources at all. Just a level 2 helmet, even not a vest also, not a perfect armor.
This Miramar has definitely not been good to so many teams, that's for sure. But one thing that we can see on the right of our screens is that so many of the teams were part of fights, were able to get at least a few eliminations going in their favor. That definitely helps them out, but now we're left with only 6 teams remaining. High Voltage Prabeen still standing. Behind him, of course, Maptex's final player Leo is still standing, Leo OP. But Abrupt Slayers, Sleepy, along with, of course, Chari and Bishal, is a 3-man squad that could bring in a lot of damage, because we just saw ASL picked up the Glee suit from the crate as well. So that could very well help them out, but the momentum in this game is going in favor of DE Venom. That's for sure, because of the amount of eliminations that they were able to get.
Certainly on the other side, Abrupt Slayers Chari find a perfect knock onto inclusive of Elementrix over there. Elementrix numbers are definitely not in their favor, and look at the way Sleepy is putting up a fight for the players of High Voltage. Prabeen being the only man standing, and the grenades, the molotovs that are coming from the side of Sleepy is definitely not helping the case of Prabeen in this situation. But Sleepy also needs to be a bit careful, because he is left with only one last molotov, and he locks it to the perfection, forcing Prabeen to come out to the open, and he strikes at the exact moment, and Sleepy eliminates High Voltage at the 5th position. Now Abrupt Slayers, they're again dominating the lobby. They have the numbers 3 men, and they're looking to take the control from the western front.
Exactly, and you talk about the northern side and the western front. We've got Venom DE. They are the ones who are leading it, and they are definitely the ones who've been approaching this game with a very cautious and a very strategic play in mind, and that in turn has resulted in them setting at 11 defeat points already confirmed. Now, does Krita know from Leo? There is Hate Dummy right next to that burnt out McLaren. If he utilizes those nades on those utilities towards Hate Dummy from Leo, then that would be perfect fight, a 3v3 that we could see. Run for the money for the chicken dinner from this game. Or it could very well turn south, and it could be Leo's player who could bring in a third-party fight in between and take away DE Venom's approach and chicken dinner approach in this game, because Abrupt Slayers, they're on top of the mountain and they've got exactly what it takes. But with that, right now, it is Chari along with the Glee suit who's going to be pushing on ahead, and of course, the spray is going to be able to connect. A brand new level 3 kit is going to be helping him. In result is going to be Venom DE getting eliminated. One final player, of course, from Leo is going to stand out, but not for long, because ASL, they are the ones walking away with a chicken dinner. Previous game, I asked them to get it. Sadly, they did not. But this one, they will get it in the bag with total 10 eliminations, 10 points from the chicken dinner. They walk away with total 20 points. Wow, that was really good. The World of Wonder, that looked fabulous. That looked really, really nice. But again, that is something that only we are going to be able to enjoy later on, because right now we're part of PMPL South Asia, where we're on day 2. We're done with 3 games, and what a perfect approach the team of ASL Abrupt Slayers had in this game. At the same point of time, of course, we cannot take away the limelight from Venom DE as well, because they stood out true and tall in this game, walked away with, I believe, 11 to 12 elimination points, and second or third finish, in fact. So decent amount of placement points as well go in their favor.
Well, certainly. And is it too soon, Blotter, to say that Abrupt Slayers are the new kings of Miramar?
It might be, but they are looking like they are slowly and
Yeah.
steadily, reaching closer and closer to that crown, because of the way they're able to understand and slow down the pace of the game as well, which in turn helped them out perfectly. And Abrupt Slayers, early on day 1, we were questioning it that we know the lineup, we know the players, but they somehow are missing something. And that something was the momentum. And that momentum has now been reached from their side. And that, of course, breach that they've been able to do has resulted in them slowly climbing up the ladder as well. We'll talk more about that once we are at the overall ranking, because I forgot to see where did they sit. I believe they're in the top 8, if I'm not wrong, in the overall ranking, but we'll confirm that later, because right now we are going to talk about the MVP, the most valuable player. Now, while the game was going on, I did point out that on the right, we were talking about how we had every team participating in the elimination feed. So who could it be this time? Well, Venom DE's Critter is the one with 6 eliminations, 1229 total damage done, and an MVP rating of 5.98. That is a ludicrous play coming in from Critter right here.
Well, certainly 6 elimination, but the damage that this guy was dishing out, I think it's the highest damage up until now, if not very close to the highest damage that has been dished out in the 2 days. So definitely this was a game when Venom DE were looking for the redemption or the comeback story they wanted to create for themselves. But a very good game, not a chicken dinner, but still a very good game coming from the side of Venom DE.
Absolutely, and this was very much needed from their side as well, right?
Yeah.
Because when we started the day off, they were not looking good when it came down to the positioning that they were on. Basically, they were absolutely, hunkered down, and that is something that they've slowly but surely now changed, and that, of course, is a good boost for them, because they were sitting on the 14th position, and now as they've played the entirety of, well, not the entirety of the day right now, because they still, I believe, have one more game remaining, but nevertheless, they are looking pretty good. They are definitely going to be climbing on day 2 in the overall ranking. But in all of that, once again, the team that has not been able to do much is Stalwart Esports, according to me. But never mind that. Right now, we are going to be talking about the top players. Shadow.
Well, certainly the top players, along with Krita, are going to be Sleepy from the side of Abrupt Slayers. This man never fails to impress me. He has always been the top 4 players, top 5 players last time also. This time with 5 elimination. Then we have Elementrix in Cus with 3 eliminations. And then we have Chari from the side of Abrupt Slayers with 3 elimination, but a very high damage number.
Indeed. And as we move on ahead, highest eliminations, of course, coming in from Critter. Highest damage is going to be Critter, as well as the highest assist. I mean, Critter all the way through. And then we move on ahead with Alpha right here, with the highest healing done, which is going to be 419. Of course, that is just the top of the list. As we move on ahead, we do also see the difference that Critter was able to create. I mean, he's number 1 on top with 6 eliminations, 1229 damage. And then the person on second in terms of damage is Incus with 798 damage. I mean, look at the difference, the stark difference that Critter was able to do. So in this game, perhaps, when we talk about Venom DE coming online and doing really, really good, it seems like it is all thanks to Critter being the way that he was in Miramar game.
Well, certainly, but looking at the match ranking, Abrupt Slayers, they are on the top with 20 points, a perfect balance between the placement and the elimination points, 10 each. But then we have Venom DE, a very aggressive performance coming from their side. 11 elimination, total of 16 points. But in the bottom, we have the players of DRS Gaming. This is something I didn't expect at all from the side of DRS T2K Esports, with only 1 point. DEADEYES again not having a very good outing in this one. On just 1 point to their name, but Raw officials, they have started showing the signs of improvement. Yes, this was not their game, but still 2 points to them.
Indeed, and definitely when it comes to the leaderboard, every single time you will have teams who are going to be leading the charge, and you'll always have teams who are going to be a little trying to catch up basically, and that also will definitely change by week 2's end, and by the time we reach into week 3, it's going to be complete domination once again, and a complete chaotic domination, in fact, where the entire statistics goes down the fray because teams just completely go in a different play style, and that is something that hopefully will be showcased in this PMPL essay as well. Right now, let's jump on ahead through the recap of the highlights and find out how did this game go so well and so wrong. I would love to see clips from Venom DE as well, because they weren't many, but they got 11. I mean, that is a very good game from them.
Well, certainly. Even the circle also favored their drop location. They like to drop in towards the side of Kyoto, and the circle was also towards a bit of southern side. So they didn't had to go for too many rotations. They already had a very good position inside the circle. So Venom DE, definitely they were looking to have the control from the southern side, and they delivered it also by getting high elimination points.
Oh yes, they did, and that is something that was, like we were talking about it, very, very important for them. And now I believe with this completed, they are going to be finding themselves at least in the top 10, if I'm not wrong. But that will all be showcased, of course, when we reach towards the overall ranking slowly and steadily. But right now, for the day, I mean, we've kind of reached the mid marker of the day. We're done with 3 games, 2 more games do remain, and for the first time now, for day 2, we're going to be talking about Erangel, because Erangel till now was not even discussed, and that is one map that everybody loves. Everybody wants to be a part of the Erangel map, and Miramar at times is a little too stretched out, is just too far away from one distance to the other if you have to rotate and all. But Erangel still provides you with those sort of opportunities. So let's see, maybe a different approach altogether that could be showcased from these teams that have been under the radar, so to say, right, till now, in day 1 and day 2 summarized together. But for now, again, as we talk about, of course, Erangel, we're going to be greeted with Group A, C, D, and E. That means Group B, where 4MV, T2K, DE, and Bad Intentions are not going to be participating.
Well, certainly Group B is sitting out. That means Stalwart Esports, SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, Illuminate Crew, and NB Esports will be joining us again in this particular Erangel. That is definitely going to change few things, because NB Esports, well, they were missing on day number 2. They are completely missing on day number 2. SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, they have started showcasing a very good performance along with Stalwart Esports. So yes, Group C is something we need to look out for.
Well, that is so true, of course, and that is something that will be cleared out right about now as we find out what prediction are we going to be going in with, and what do you think, Shadow? Which team are you wanting to choose?
It's not so easy, but okay, SKYLIGHTZ Gaming again. This time they are playing, thankfully.
All right, SKYLIGHTZ Gaming is coming in from your side as the prediction for this Miramar, oh my apologies, Erangel Games perfect chicken dinner. From my side, I would love to go with the DRS. The real soldiers could be the ones maybe who could maybe lead the charge and get the game in the bag. Hopefully, again, I'm not 100% about that, because I still do believe that High Voltage is going to climb up the ladders, and they are going to be the ones walking away with the chicken dinner either today or tomorrow for sure. Well, again, tomorrow being day after, which is going to be day number 3, because tomorrow, as we discussed during the start of the stream itself, tomorrow it will be an off. 23rd will be an off for the players as well as the stream, and we'll be back on 24th. But that'll be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But for now, let's jump into the action once again. And to start things off, we are going to be taking a look at the flight path, which starts off from the military base, mostly focused towards the eastern side of the map itself, and taking us through to hospital.
Certainly, it's heading towards the side of hospital, but if any teams want to go towards the side of Yasne, I know T2K likes to go towards the side of Sivoni. The entire eastern map, they have to glide a bit longer in this one. So NB Esports, well, they are already heading toward their favorite drop location. STE might be looking to take Novoproy or maybe Milta area, but the question is where the circle is going to form. I want a Stelber circle. What about you, Blotter?
Let's see what exactly is going to happen in this game. It is going to be a slow start. I'm just trying to figure out where should I be focusing towards for the first blood situation. Because on the map of Erangel, right, on Miramar, you can still expect a kerfuffle to take place in the early few moments of the game. On Erangel, many times all the teams are very well versed with each other. So we hardly see drop contestations until unless they're intentional. And that is something that I do believe we could have on the northern side towards where Georgia Pole is, where IHC love to go, Seal loves to go. And today I'm looking at Venom DE players also wanting to be a part of that same exact region. And up north towards Zarki is probably where Mabitex is going to be reaching as well.
Could be possible, but right now in the epicenter or close to epicenter, we have the players of Abrupt Slayers. Again, a very good position to hold on to. But you were talking about where the first blood is going to happen, and it looks like it's already there between the players of TRZ and Elementrix. Elementrix not having a good start at all. Lost one of the player already, and now they have to survive with 3-man squad. They're already towards the side of Fairy Pier, and the segregation that is coming from the side of Elementrix is something I'm not appreciating at this point. So they need to regroup as soon as possible.
They most certainly do. With only a few minutes in, we've already got the first blood taken care of. And now, on our screens, it is going to be TRZ Mad Cat, along with, of course, his teammates, Steel Shot, Mamba, and Degree. And, of course, it was a run over Illim that we saw, or rather didn't see, but were part of for the first blood situation that Degree got while he was trying to get the buggy. Nevertheless, though, looking at the zone itself, they are 1,300 meters away. So long ways away they are. They are going to have to find those vehicles real quick and soon for all of them to be able to get the loot and then get away quickly. Interestingly enough, this time around, like I was saying earlier as well, Venom DE have decided to go towards North Georgia. Of course, down south, Georgia is always IHC in that vicinity. And Seal Esports is always seen north as well. But looking at the kill feed, once again, the LM feed goes on crazy where I8's Viper is in action and taking on shots, bringing down another 2 players as we are down to 62 players alive.
Well, certainly, NV Esports again not having a very good start this time because I8, well, they have managed to take down one of their player, and let's see what's going to happen. But we have seen Seal and Venom DE coexist in North Georgia Pool at the same time because from the very first game, they both have been dropping in towards this side. So I think we are not going to witness any sort of fight at this stage because Venom DE, they are not at the best of the position in the overall ranking. Same goes for the players of Seal Esports. They both need the points, and engaging in a fight at this point is not going to help the case of either one. So I don't think this time we are going to see any fight, especially when they are 1,000 meters or close to 1,000 meters away from the safe circle.
Yeah, but you never know. I mean, these players, a few of them are a little, I don't want to say egotistical, but they definitely take pride in taking those fights. And many times we've seen players and fights that extend in the blues and stalemates that extend in the blues because, well, the players want to. They just want to showcase their prowess. They want to showcase their dominance. And how dare you come into our region where the entire world knows that this is where, on the map of Erangel, we like to drop. So that's what I'm thinking about when I say that I would love to see a fight between them, but you're absolutely correct. Now they are so far away. Their main priority should definitely be to run towards the zone and looking on towards Vitka itself. We've got DRS right here. The real soldiers moving on with again this UMP meta. What do you have to say about the UMP meta, Shadow?
Well, it was broken at one point. The way the players used to use UMP 45 in close range, I think it was unbeatable, and looks like the meta is still going on. Either you see a M416 and a UMP 45 with the players, or a Mini 14 and a UMP 45. But UMP 45 is always going to be in the close range. It's very deadly. On the other side, we both kind of agree that these teams are not going to engage in a fight. D, Venom, and Seal, but looks like they are engaging in a fight. And Seal Arrow has been taken down, and Krita is looking for a confirmation with a grenade. Let's see if he can find it.
Absolutely, and he definitely will. He'll confirm that first blood for, not the first blood, but for him, at least in this game. And in doing so, another perfect blow coming in with a UMP in his hand. And Sanchir from Seal Esports goes down, and that'll be 2. Says thank you, Venom DE, for this game now. Their main priority, of course, ought to be, they've got another vehicle as well that they just stole to rush for the zone. And they've got 1500 meters to cover. It's absolutely fine. They've got almost 2 minutes. More than ample amount of time to be able to cover that. But first things first, of course, get regrouped, get recuperated, and then the entire squad. Now, this is where things get a little tricky, right? They've got ample amount of time. It's only the first stage of the zone, so they won't be given that much amount of damage. But the biggest trouble over there then becomes the fact that you're choosing to do a late rotation. And in that late rotation, the way you're driving and the way you're moving around, you are missing out on the best of the best compound in the zone. And also, when you are getting into the zone, if you choose not to stick to the edges and go directly into the center of the zone or roundabout in the center of the zone, there are already going to be squads that are going to be placing their crosshairs on you. So it's a tricky gamble that you kind of have to take. That late rotation works out because you got elimination points, but did it work out later on? Well, we'll find out. We'll come back to that conversation when it hits the team of Venom DE. But for now, we've got Leo Esports on our screens as they're looking very comfortable with the loot that they've got. Level 3 helmet and level 2 kit. DBS in the hands of a couple of these players as well from the side of Leo. And now it's out to fight. Now it's out to search for their prey.
Well, Leo Esports, the day number 2 was already in their favor, is already in their favor. They started a day on a very good note by getting 11 elimination points in their favor. Now they're trying to inch towards the center of the circle or maybe towards a better position, but they need to be careful because parallelly, TRZ is also making a rotation. We have the plus of Raw also, and looks as the circle is also going to shift, and it's a Pochinki circle, at least for now. So maybe we can see few teams find residency in the city of Pochinki. So let's see what's going to happen because majority of the rotations are going to come from the northern side or from the eastern side, and that is exactly where the fights are going to happen. And NB Esports, they need to be careful because the segregation that is coming from the side with Fist Void towards the side of prison, remaining players on the periphery of the circle, well, they need to regroup as soon as possible.
IHC, the rotation they've made is what I was looking at. IHC, the way they've moved in from the western side of the zone, from the ruins region, right? And the way they're hunkering themselves down towards pretty much the center, right across them is going to be high voltage as well. High voltage, if they are, because they've done so earlier as well, if they are able to bring down IHC, this could very well should be a high fragging game for high voltage, but IHC have a marker to prove on day 2 because they've not yet had a good game thus far. So this could be the opening that IHC were hoping for, but let's see if they do bring it into a brawl fight or not between those two. As of now, we do have SITM on our screens, and no team around in the vicinity for them to be worried about as of yet. But the Blues definitely is going to be a cause for concern, for which, of course, we do see Jiro getting out of the compound and just running it to get into the zone.
Talking about not having a good day, even the plus of DRS are also not having a good day today. Yesterday, yes, they managed to get one chicken dinner for themselves, but today they are yet to get one. They are not able to perform up to the expectations we had, but Abrupt Slayers, well, they are performing because Sleepy again gets a one knock onto the player of NBES. What is happening with the players of NBES? They were trying to inch inside the circle, and that is exactly where the Abrupt Slayers were present. This is what I am hoping, and well, the numbers are definitely not in the favor of NBES right now, and Chari gets a confirmation onto Sek. So NB Esports now with only 2 men, and we have a fish inside the river, that is Valley, and looks like Venom DE. They have smelled blood in the water and they're already hunting for it.
Oh, they definitely are. They're pushing on ahead. They know that they've got somebody in there. They just don't know where and how and what it could be, what team it could be. Or what fish it could be. It could be either way. So, I mean, you know, Wally is a kind of like a whatever. But talking about Venom themselves, I mean, they have started off really, really good on day 2. They've got a very good control of the way that they are not over-aggressing. The rotation that they're able to make is working out in their favor. But it all boils down to, can they keep it consistent though? Can they keep it reoccurring? If they're able to do that, then most certainly we can expect a really good result from Venom DE as well by the end of the day. because they're on the rise for the prize. But we've spoken about that. In order to do so, consistency is the key. And right now, quite a lot of these teams are sticking to the edges of the zone and in fact are going for those late rotations. Only a few select ones. We saw High Voltage, we saw IHC. From the Eastern fronts, we had DRS moving in ahead as well. So quite a lot of them are sticking to the edges. And this is where things are going to get a little bit of a stalemate sort of a situation as well. And as I speak of DRS, there they are towards the eastern side of the zone. And right next to them, it is going to be SITM.
Well, certainly SITM QB has been spotted on well because of the DRS gaming, and Bulls was trying to whip a few bullets. Now Dobu is the one who getting the shots from the side of Rules, and looks like somewhere else on the map, Raw officials and I8 are also engaging in a fight where the players of I8 are getting taken down, and I8, well, they have one elimination point, but they need to go for the rescue mission on the fallen teammate as soon as possible. But DRS, they need to be careful as grenades are coming in their direction, and Rules has taken a hefty damage. Looks like it is the players of SITM who are trying to take down the players of DRS right now.
Well, let's see how is this going to be panned out. Because the flank angle that's been created against DRS, again though, flank angle or not, the best part for DRS is the compound they've got in the hand. But the flank angle could very well be troublesome, and that is what SITM thought, but it seems like they're not going to be going for that. They're toying around with the team of DRS right now. SITM is all over the place. But if you look to the top right hand side of our screens, there was a yellow dot around the corner as well. I wonder what team that is. We've got SITM. Oh, that's Skylight Gaming right there. Right, so Skylight Gaming does have an opportunity to bring in a third party over here as well. Between these two chaotic teams. DRS, the best part for them, apart from having a compound, is also the fact that they're up on top of a ridge, or rather a mountain. Much higher than SITM or SG for that matter. So everything rules out in their favor. It is going to be mostly SITM and Skylight, if my math is right, who should be going up against each other. On the other front of the game itself, we've got Mabatex this time around taking shots against IHC. That's a good change to see.
Well, certainly fights are happening, but this time teams are being so cautious as compared to the day number 1, day number 2. The aggression is definitely the controlled aggression. We still have 16 teams, 58 players, and a vehicle runover is coming in, and looks like it was the player of High Voltage that was taken down by the player of A+B+C+D Esports, but trades are coming in, and Probeen with the grenades looking for the confirmation either onto Leo or Wally, or maybe looking for a third knock onto the players of A+B+C+D Esports, but Jiggle from a far off angle is trying to get the confirmation onto Leo. So A+B+C+D Esports, they are in a lot of trouble. Leo is going for the rescue mission. Least does he know that Jiggle is already peppering bullets in his direction.
Well, what a perfect play right there coming in from High Voltage Probeen as he takes down Maptex's players. One by one, Maptex's players do go down, but they still do have a couple of more remaining around. It all boils down to how exactly is Maptex planning on changing that. Maptex, we've seen them earlier as well. They try and not stick out too much when it comes to the fights, but this time around, they don't have anywhere to go, and that is where, in turn, High Voltage's players, through the nade parade, have been brought down, and High Voltage being in between IHC and Maptex, have resulted in giving away the opportunity that they could have had, walking away with this amount of points. The Saturn goes down. Godless goes down right here. Mabatex is utilizing this to perfection. Zeol is in the background, should be able to provide, if nothing else, a little bit of a smoke wall that could be creating a bit of a barrage between Mabatex. But that's not going to be the case. It is going to be a 2v1 situation. Zeol along with his teammate are going to be going and rushing in for Maptex's one final player remaining. And where has he rushed off to? I think he's been pushed out of the lobby, and that is exactly what it has turned out to be. IHC, they stand true and tall. They did end up losing out on 2 of their players, getting 2 of their players knocked out, but that's absolutely fine because they will be given a revival, and they are going to be back in the game. With that, we move on to another fight altogether. HV's Jiggle. High Voltage is Jiggle being the final player. He's trying his level best to try and run around the baseball wicket. I'm not entirely sure what he was trying to do, running around in circles, trying to dodge bullets, but that's the best that he could think of on the open. Sadly, not going to be able to do much, and Venom is really going to be able to get that elimination point as well. I mean, fights all across the border going on. Now we've got Leo Esports against TRZ. A perfect nade coming in from TRZ's Mamba is going to stop not only one but two of the players from Leo Esports. But Leo Esports' teammates are right around the corner as well. We saw them rushing in with the buggy, and this is the moment where, of course, TRZ's Mamba could be given a revival, and which in turn could very well bring this fight into once again a 4v4 situation. But we'll see if that can be the case or not, because Leo still needs to get a revival on that teammate.
Well, certainly they need the revival, and the revival process is already undergoing, and Degree with a grenade is looking for one more knock. But on the other side, we have HIGHVOLTAGE doing exactly same, and trade is coming in. No, the trade is not coming in. Only one knock is coming in. HIGHVOLTAGE has been taken down. Sus is already bleeding out. Mr. Smokey on a very low HP, and with that, TRZ takes down one of the most aggressive team from the lobby. Leo Esports with Spyber at the 13th spot. This is something we didn't anticipate at all, but TRZ, perfect synergy and communication coming from the players, perfect grenade projectiles coming from their side, has eliminated the entirety of Leo Esports. Now TRZ looking very strong with highest elimination points for themselves in this particular one, 5 elimination. In fact, they have a good compound to their name as well. On the other side, we have the players of DRS, SITM, at the same time SKYLIGHTZ Gaming also sharing the eastern periphery of the circle.
Well, this is once again a bit of a stalemate in the fight. DRS, they've been in this fight for a very long time, but they've been stuck around there. And with that, DE, Venom DE. This is a team that I was hoping to be able to see reach the end of this game, but that seems to be very unlikely, because right now it all boils down to one-man army, and that is being taken on seriously by Farhad, because Farhad was able to bring down not one but two of the players from IHC, and that brings IHC are now down to 2 players, Demo and Alex. Alex is too far away. He's on a flank angle. He's not going to be able to come in to give out a revival. On in the front of the game altogether, SKYLIGHTZ Gaming have pushed on against the truly held position of DRS. Now, this is the chaos that IHC actually invited for themselves. They are the ones who pushed on like hungry lions and hyenas, and sadly just could not do much, because DE Venom, they were ready to pounce on upon, and they were ready to bring in the mayhem to the face of IHC, and in doing so, IHC is left with just a one-man army, and that's going to be Alex in the background, and that is all that they can do from this game right now. And like I was saying earlier, Venom DE, yeah, they're going to be able to survive. I wanted them to survive. I wanted to see them survive for quite a long time, and they are, and they've got 7 elims already confirmed for them. DRS, though, they were stuck in this stalemate for far too long, and now the Blues have caught up to them. SITM, they're just patiently waiting. Will DRS be able to get away from this? We've only got 12 teams remaining in this entire fray, but SITM have troubles of their own, because it seems like the area that they were trying to run away from has been stopped in tracks, because it was Elementrix. But Elementrix Gimli, he does not know where the shot's going to be coming from, and Giro will bring him down, and Elementrix is out of the lobby now. We are left with only 10 teams. Now, this was the opening that DRS could and should have utilized, but they still are a little slow, and in doing so, SITM's Desert is going to be killing on Killer YT. He goes down, and Rules is out in the smokes, but he still has a vehicle around, so Rules can still get in the vehicle and get away. But will SITM allow that? That's not going to be an easy answer to give.
Well, certainly it's not easy the way SATM are dominating at this particular position. They are giving a lot of trouble to the players of DRS, but DRS, before moving ahead inside the circle, they did enough damage on the side of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming. They managed to take down 3 players of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, and now they are getting punished by the players of SATM, but somewhere else in the map, we have the players of Stalwart Esports also going up against the players of A+B+C+D, and trades are coming to and fro from both sides, and looks like a third party is also happening from the side of Raw officials, but it is SATM and DRS, how they are going to get away from the situation, how they are going to transition themselves inside the center of the circle. That's the main thing I need to see. And looks like A+B+C+D, they have been eliminated by Stalwart Esports. 0-3 plus of DRS right in front of him. He managed to take down one, managed to take down second one also, and before doing that, he got the confirmation also. But now Giro has been taken down, but Rules is the last man standing, and Desert from the side of SATM. It's a 1v1 situation.
It definitely is a 1v1 situation between these two, with his Scarlet in his hand, and of course on the other front he needs to be able to, of course, get Giro down, because he's given away a lot of information to his teammate, and in doing so, Desert does have a better hand and an upper hand because of the bullets that he's got in his Gun, and that is going to be the end of DRS Gaming. I mean, that was chaos. That was chaos all the way through. DRS, not entirely sure why did they even decide to push on like this. They had already lost 2 of their players while making a rush in the vehicle. And then after that, it was all down to, of course, pure aim. And that pure aim resulted in DRS getting eliminated right there. Not sure if we cursed it or not, but in the end, SITM did also lose out on quite a lot of their players because they're left with just a one-man army as well. And in all of that, the one team that is advantageous in all of this, it is going to be DE Venom, or Venom DE, whichever way you want to call it. It is looking like this is the day for Venom DE to shine.
Even raw officials, they have the entire control of the potato hill of the Pochinki side. They have the control of the southern side. If they move little towards the eastern side, I think raw officials can have a better position inside the circle. Even they'll have a height advantage onto the plus of TRZ, even onto the plus of I8 also. So yes, raw officials are also looking pretty strong in this particular one. SITM standing with only one man. On the other side, on the northern side, like you mentioned, we have the players of DE Venom also, but SKYLIGHTZ, well, they are surviving with only one man, so the numbers are definitely towards the side of TRZ and towards the side of Venom DE. So let's find out what's going to happen. 7 teams, 18 players still remaining with 3 defeat points in the hands of raw officials.
I was just looking at the map itself and I was trying to figure out what that green team is, but they're on our screens right now, and that is going to be Raw. Now, Raw is a team that has a really good positioning at the edge of the south of the zone, but do they have the control of course, the spray, and can they connect those to get the game in their favor? The zone is out in the open. The momentum definitely is going in favor of the Venom. But they've made too much noise is what I'm thinking, and that in turn could very well be drawing a lot of the other teams, the opponent teams, towards the positioning of NMDE. But we'll have to see if that'll be the case or not. But this could, like I said, be the opening for the way Raw is spreading across on the mountain. They've got a lot of information right there. If they utilize that to perfection, it could be their game. With that, IHC, the final player, Alex, has been eliminated as well. Top 6 teams, 17 players remaining. TRZ still around the bend, still around the corner with 3 players remaining, 7 kills, 7 eliminations in total. But this is the moment, once again, like I was expecting Raw to utilize and capitalize upon. Can they do so? Because it seems like TRZ Steel Shot, all by his lonesome, is going to be trying his luck to bring in those late parades and stop RAW in their tracks.
Well, certainly they are trying to do so, but can they succeed in doing so? That's the main question. We have the plus of raw officials towards the southern side. The circle is going to decide the fate of so many teams, because if the circle is favoring you, definitely this game could be yours. So let's see, in a matter of few seconds, we'll find out where the next circle is going to be. Yes, definitely Yeta is keeping a close eye onto the plus of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming. At the same time, onto Desert, the last man from the side of SITM. In fact, Blotter this time, SITM also, they performed really good in this particular one, at least the way they were putting fight against the players of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming and DRS.
Indeed, that is so very true, of course. And the fight is still not yet done, it seems like, because then finally it is going to be Raw that's going to be opening up the crosshairs and the bloods that could be drawn in from the side of SITM, but that's not the case because Desert is not yet ready to go down. He has brought down 1 player from Raw. Raw is going to be down to a 3-man army, but Desert, can he get more on the other side of the map altogether itself? We've got SKYLIGHTZ Gaming getting eliminated, all thanks to, of course, DE Venom. And with that, 1 more in the bag for SITM Desert. And another one goes on Raw. What exactly are they thinking doing this? 1 by 1 you go in opening your crosshairs. Well, thankfully, all right, this time around, he had a little bit more cover. Zordi from Raw has resulted in finishing off Desert, but at a cost of course, Reaper, one of his teammates. That's absolutely fine. They are still a 3-man strong team. Raw still has a pretty good area that they can control, which is the western front of the entirety of the zone itself. But DE Venom, the zone advantage, more than the zone advantage, the momentum advantage that DE Venom have, that is what could be very well taking this fight to the face of Raw. If Raw utilize it like a third-party situation, then Venom will not be able to capitalize upon. But let's see if that'll be the case. Not because right now we've got Steel Shot from TRZ. He knows exactly where the player of Raw is running from. He threw the nade. Sadly, was not able to connect. And now he's going to fall back.
Well, certainly, DE Venom, they have managed to take the entire control of the northern front by eliminating the plus of I8, and now they're looking super strong. And with a vehicle, Farad is already trying to spot on the plus, but he needs to be careful because Mamba is keeping a close eye onto him. But Steel Shot finds a perfect knock onto the plus of Raw officials over there as one player hits the ground. Now, only two men standing from the side of Raw. This gives an opening to Domi of Venom DE to move inside the circle to have the central control of the circle, but Raw is going to retaliate by getting a confirmation onto Rally also.
Once again, a bit of a stalemate that Raw puts the entire game into. In fact, every other team, they're just trying to get themselves recuperated after the fight that just took place. But it seems like TRZ Steel Shot, he's got other things in mind. He's been trying to hamper the progress of Raw from that angle for such a long time. And now this time around, it seems like they're going to be going head-to-head against the players of Venom DE. It's a 3v3 between these two teams. We're only left with 3 teams, of course, and in that, Mamba is leading the charge from the side of TRZ from this angle, and that flank angle is going to be dominated from him because Venom DE's Domi is not going to be able to do much, and with this nade going to perfection, he might just be able to finish them down to a 2-man army, and that is exactly what it will be. Venom DE, the advantage that they had, the momentum that they had, it's all going down thanks to TRZ. One side it's Steel Shot, the other side it's Mamba.
Well, TRZ with 9 defeat points. Then we have Venom DE back-to-back 2 good games coming from this particular team. 12 eliminations already, but the numbers are definitely, like you mentioned, are in the favor of TRZ, but the circle is not in the favor. That's the main thing. Slowly and slowly, the players of Raw officials are also closing in, inching towards the players of Venom DE, but they need to be careful. They need to have a cover for themselves at every moment because look at the position of TRZ. They're right in front of Zodi, and Zodi knows exactly where the players are. This grenade can be deadly for the players of TRZ if he lobs it to the perfection, and can he do so? And the answer is no, but a follow-up Molotov could be deadly, but no, Zodi is going to miss the projectile, and both the players of TRZ are surviving. At the same time, Zodi's position has been given away. Now Zodi needs to be careful of Ferrohat, but it is Mad Cat that is going to take him down.
Indeed. The one player in the back lines, the one in green, that's of course going to be Yet Outa from Raw, is the man who could very well be the devil force in this game right now. Because these two teams are so busy taking on each other that Yet Outa's position has not yet been divulged, and that in turn could very well be the opening that Yet Outa would need. But once again, he's the only man surviving from the side of Raw. So RAW's final player, he's just going to have to hunker it down right behind that rock as he is doing. But in the final moments, he can very well just pounce on upon to get, if nothing else, damage and a knock onto the opponents. It is a 3v2 between these two teams. TRZ against, of course, Venom DE. Critter and Farhad. All right, what an opening coming in from Critter right there. He was able to spot him down through the small little cross right there. And that in turn has resulted in, of course, 2v2 situation between Venom DE and TRZ as well. Now, Critter is the only man who's been able to do all of that. And never mind that, because now comes in Farhad from the side of Venom DE as well with a perfectly timed nade. And that in turn has brought down the numbers of TRZ to just a one-man army. Critter, what a perfect, legendary play that was from him. He was waiting for this, and if this connects, this better not connect, Critter. That is the worst way that you can, of course, eliminate your opponent. Thankfully, it did not, but nevertheless, I mean, the entire fight is in their hands now. Venom DE, at a certain point, they had all 4 players surviving. Went down to 2. Then things went sideways because TRZ had the lead, had the charge. But then Venom took it by storm. Critter created that beautiful opening, bringing down Mamba. And then, in the end, there was no way that that 2v1 situation with the flank angle could have gone against them. And they are the ones walking away with the chicken dinner. Venom DE. What a beautiful finish that definitely was, bringing them to the overall 3rd ranking. They started the day with 14th position, 16 total eliminations, 26 points. Ludicrous play. And with that, with that chaotic game coming to an end. Yes, we were talking about it yesterday because, it is very simple. Things are going to change. It is a league. Day 1, you try and experiment around with things. Day 2, you showcase your true colors. Day 3 onwards, or perhaps by the end of week 1 itself, I could say onwards, you start dominating. And that's exactly what we're looking at right now, coming in, especially from the likes of Venom DE. Loving their play.
Well, certainly, even the last game of Venom D in terms of the elimination points was fantastic. They missed the winner chicken dinner in the previous one, and they get it in this particular one. So Venom DE definitely looking very strong. Like you also mentioned, they started the day by being on the bottom of the leaderboard, and now they're sitting on top 3. So definitely, one good game can change the entire leaderboard. You can be on the bottom, and this game you can be on the top, not exactly on the top, but in top 5 in the very next game.
Absolutely, and for that, of course, you need to get your elimination points on track and need to, of course, give them at least 2-digit finishes, and that's what they've done right here so beautifully with 16. I mean, what a graceful finish that was, but we've still got one more game remaining for Venom DE. Sadly, that's not the case, but we still do have one more Miramar game remaining for the day. And talking about the MVP, once again, it is going to be Critter from Venom DE with 6 eliminations once again. 877 damage. The damage has gone down a little compared to the previous MVP that he was, but the MVP rating 5.39. The consistency is being showcased from him.
Well, definitely. Last time also in the previous match also he was the MVP. This time again being the MVP. So definitely he's one of the strong contender for that MVP prize money, $1,000 just for himself. So that is something the teams and the players need to keep an eye on, because $1,000 just for you. You don't have to share it with your teammates. So yes, this is something also to watch out for. But coming to other team also that performed really well in this one, Blotter, is TRZ. They had a fantastic run in this particular one.
Yes, I have to agree. I definitely have to agree. TRZ, the way that they were able to, synergistically push themselves, it was looking really, really good. But with that, of course, let's move on ahead. Have a look at the top players coming in from this game, and we'll find out where exactly is Krita going to be at. Well, of course, he's going to be dominating and leading the charge with 6 eliminations going in his favor, 877 damage. But then comes in the players from Venom DE. Sense, Domi, what a perfect conversion, of course, the teammates of Kreta have done in this game, because they are all 3 lined up with the play that they made right here on the map of Erangel.
Well, certainly a fantastic game coming from the side. Mad Cat from the side of TRZ with 3 elimination. Then we have Rose Yoke from the side of DRS Gaming. DRS Gaming this time having a decent performance, 5 total points and 5 elimination points, to be particular, 0 placement points, sitting on the 6th spot. But Venom DE right at the top with 26 points, TRZ 16 points, 10 elimination points to their name. TRZ, a fantastic performance from their side. Raw officials also 10 points to their name, sitting on the 3rd spot. Then we have SITM. Even SITM also showcased signs of aggression, and they delivered also by getting good elimination points.
Absolutely, and that is something that is going to help them out quite a lot. CL Esports on the other front, though, lot to be expected from them still. They are missing from the action. They're not really looking like the ones in control anymore. But again, it could very well be just like Venom DE were yesterday on day number 1. They played it like a fluke. They were trying to understand what the lobby was doing. And then on day 2, they've started to really pop off heads. So perhaps CL Esports could be doing the exact same thing. And perhaps the other upcoming days, the weekend basically, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, is when we can anticipate a bit of a comeback story from their side. But yeah, I mean, there's something that we've spoken about time and time again. In the first week, or rather in the first 2 days itself, there are teams sitting on the overall leaderboard with 79, 80 plus points. And then you've got a team like CL Esports sitting on the 20th position with barely any points. So that is going to be a big hamper in their progression later on. Absolutely, well, but with that, let's also go ahead and have a look at the highlights from this game.
in this particular one, Leo Esports, they didn't had the best of the outing in this one, but Venom D, yes, they managed to get the control of the height advantage, was definitely in their favor. But in later stages, TRZ gave them a bit of the trouble, but the perfect synergy and the coordination between the players resulted in that perfect winner chicken dinner.
Absolutely, that is something that it is so difficult. It is so difficult to absolutely be able to predict and say that this team is looking good. They are going to be the ones walking away with the chicken dinner, or the ones who are in control of the zone and altogether. Because so many things come into play when it comes down to the way teams change the play style itself. Like we saw from TRZ in this game, like we're looking at Venom DE from this game onwards, from the previous game onwards rather. And the downfall, it's not really a downfall, but definitely a different play style that IHC Esports is going for. All in all, it's very good because it gives us more entertaining moments that we can talk about, to remember about. And this is just day 2 and it's still not yet done. We've still got one more game to go. So yeah, definitely looking forward to it. But sadly, like I was saying, we won't have RAW officials, raw officials in this game. We won't have High Voltage, Venom DE, or TRZ for that matter.
Well, certainly these 4 teams will be sitting out in this particular one, last Miramar of the day. So, coming to the prediction, wait for it. Do you have any correct prediction? Do we have? No, we don't have. So, let's have a look at the schedule first.
Let's definitely do so. And that in turn takes us to the final game of the day. It is going to be Miramar. Group A will not be playing. That means High Voltage, Venom DE, Raw, TRZ. They are the ones who are not going to be playing. And in turn, going to allow Group B, C, D, and E to jump into the action, of course. We saw SITM bring in quite a bigger punch, or rather they tried in this game. So for the final game's prediction, I think I'm going to go with SITM Esports. What do you want to choose, Shadow?
It's difficult. I don't know. I want Deadeye guys to get a winner chicken dinner for themselves, because every single team has shown the signs of aggression and improvement. It's only Deadeye guys that are left to do so. The big names, the veteran players, big organizations. So Deadeye guys ought to do on day number 2.
Well, let's see. Fingers crossed, of course. We'll find out if that'll be the case or not. But it's again going to be a difficult thing to answer, because every single time we jump in with this prediction spell-based thing, it's only being cast from the desk without knowing any information of to what's going to happen in the game, right? So all of that put aside, let's just have a good game. Let's just have some fun. And of course, it is going to be the map of Miramar. It is the final game of the day. Not entirely sure if it's going to be accelerated like we saw on day 1, or if it is going to be a slow-paced one. But based on how the teams are approaching now, it seems more likely to be the latter. Let's find out where exactly are these teams going to be taking us through to.
Well, let's find out where the flight path is, and looks like it's the same flight path we're witnessing again for the second time today. It's going from the side of Kyoto towards the western side of La Cobreria. So let's see which team is going to get a winner chicken dinner in this particular one. But first I want to see where the circle is going to form, and looks like I8 again they are going to find a residency towards the side of Los Leones. In fact, that has been their drop location from a very long time.
Absolutely. And right now, as the game starts off, another question that everybody always asks is where the zone is going to be drawn, and where and how exactly will the game be paced around as well. Because if the teams are too far off, then it becomes very, very difficult to follow along with the progression of the game. For the teams as well, it becomes very, very difficult to make those late rotations, as we've seen earlier as well. Today being the day of Miramars, and also this being the third day, or rather third Miramar game itself, map itself. A lot of expectations, and there we have it. A crater field zone is what we are going to be looking at right off the bat. Perfect start for SG once again this time around, because they're going towards La Correria, and they're going to be pretty much the extreme northern side of the zone as well as the map for now.
Well, certainly this time the circle is towards the side of El Pozo. Crater Fields is exactly where the players of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming are, and Now I'm regretting why I didn't pick SKYLIGHTZ Gaming in my prediction. But never mind, I'm still rooting for the players of DEADEYES, guys. And talking about other teams that are not performing or bad intention, this time the circle is a bit far away. They have to cross paths with the players of T2K when they want. When they will try to transition themselves inside the circle. Elementrix, this time they are in a good spot. Even the players of NB Esports, this time they are in the epicenter of the circle. They ought to have a good game this time.
Absolutely. And as we move on ahead and progress on through, we've got the first blood situation right here as we've got I8 taken down the players of SRTM. This is not what we expected from SRTM's play, definitely. But it seems I8 have been able to get a perfect start for themselves in this game. Again, Illuminate 8 crew, they've been missing from the action as well. We've seen them here and there, but not too dominatingly. And that is something that perhaps they're wanting to change in this final game. But in Los Leones, it's a big, big region to cover and explore. They could very well be third-partied or brought into a different early fight as well. Let's see though what's going to be the case for Illuminate 8. A good start though, definitely a very good start for them.
Certainly a good start for them, but this is not the I8 that I have seen in the past. Sky was the main aggressive player from the side of I8 and Illuminate crew. This is not the Illuminate crew I've witnessed in the previous seasons, in the previous gameplays. They are completely missing out. The aggression that I was expecting from the side of Eliminate crew has not been showcased yet. Maybe in the coming days, or maybe in this particular one we can see it. But on the other side, if we talk about Leo Esports, well, day number 1, fantastic run. Day number 2, not so shabby, not so good. They are having a decent run. Yes, game number one was in their favor, but after that they fizzled out on the second one. But still nothing to worry about. They are on the top of the leaderboard right now, at least in the top 5. But this is a team that I'm worried about. NB Esports, the way this team played on day number 1, the aggression they showcased is completely missing on day number 2. They are not able to win those 4v4 fights. Either they are caught out in the open or the rotations are being cut off. Something is happening. This team is not able to perform today.
Absolutely. And then, like you said, teams go through their ups and downs as the journey starts. And in this league, this is just day number 2. So the journey has, well, I would say not even warmed up yet for these players and teams. So let's give them perhaps the first week altogether itself. But talking about giving away the first week to your opponents, you've got the likes of 4MV who've got more than 80 points in the games that they've played and leading the charge in the top of the leaderboard. So yeah, it's not looking too good for a couple of these teams. But again, like you said, the ups and downs, they will continue. Perhaps right now in week 1, we are looking at 4MV doing fabulously well. But later on, they might also slow down in their pace because other teams start realizing as to what sort of a playstyle and what sort of a rotation is a 4MV up to, and could start stopping them in their tracks. But right now, we've got IHC on our screens. Now, IHC has showcased a lot of ups and downs in terms of the way that they've been playing as well. Definitely not what we expected from them. But they're not deterred at all. That is the best part. The entirety of the day, they go through mood swings. You know, certain games they're doing fabulous, certain games they're not. But they don't deter from it. They keep trying their level best. And the one thing that they do know, and we all love, is their aggressive force that they showcase. Perhaps a little too aggressive at times, but you can't complain about that in a battleground game.
Well, a controlled aggression is the key. If you're over aggressive, it is not going to help you in the long run. That is something we are witnessing in the case of NB Esports also, because the over aggression they showcased on day number 1, well, day number 2 is not there. IHC Esports, same goes for them. Day number 1 was entirely their day. They started the day by getting a chicken dinner and 8 elimination, but day number 2, that is not missing. On the other side, DRS is impressing me in their recent gameplay. Stalwart Esports, right now they are on the low ground, and looks like DRS Gaming Rules has spotted on the players of Stalwart Esports, but he doesn't want to give away his position. But looks like he's going to pep a few bullets. maybe the vehicle has taken a bit of the damage, but the players of Stalwart Esports, they have a hard cover for themselves, so they are safe for now. But TRS Gaming needs to be a bit careful, because when you want to be king of the hills, maybe in a map of Miramar, there is some other team on the opposite hill that can fire in your direction, that can shoot in your direction. And talking of that, well, Rolls better be careful, because the segregation that is coming from the players of DRS, yes, they are trying to watch all the four different angles. They are trying to cover the 360-degree view in case some enemy try and close in the distance towards them. At the same time, they might want to engage in a fight with the players of Stalwart Esports, but Stalwart Esports action, well, looks like they have information onto the players of T2K. Well, T2K better be careful, because action with that M416 and a UMP45 is already looking in your direction. So T2K, well, the vehicles are ready. Maybe they are opting for the rotation. And Stalwart Esports, after getting the information, instead of directly rushing to the compound, they're just happy with the information.
Yeah, that's a very odd move coming in from Stalwart, knowing how aggressive the team is. But perhaps, all right, that makes a lot more sense actually, because T2K, they've got a really good compound, and that compound is not an easy one to open into, right? From all the edges and the angles, it is just something that Stalwart is not going to be looking at bringing down anytime soon, and therefore perhaps falling back is the best option for them for now. And again, it's just the early few stage that we are part of right now. As the game progresses, they know where they need to keep their crosshairs towards, because they know where T2K is going to be coming from. So that is a good utilization of information from their side. On the other front, as we were talking about SG earlier as well, they found themselves hunkered down towards the crater field area itself and scattered, which is also a very good thing. But once again, Mabitex, I am very much now moving away from high voltages play into Mabitex, because every single time I end up noticing Mabitex and the rotations they end up making, they're just a little, I don't want to say slow, but late. They're a little passive. That's the best way to describe it. And that in turn is not helping them. And on the other front, IHC Demo is going to be able to find their age-old rival, Seal Esports, and Sanchar has been dropped down.
And Sanchar is way too far away from his teammates to even hope for a rescue mission or a revival, but maybe Rog will be thinking to do so, but Demo with those grenades is giving a lot of trouble to the player Rog over there from the side of Seal Esports. But let's see what's gonna happen, as Rog with that Mini 14 and the EBS, Demo is making a quick escape from the situation, because he do know that the blue is closing in, and this is the moment when he has to prioritize the circle, and instead of getting the confirmation onto Sanchir, just prioritize the circle and regroup with the teammates. On the other side, Maptex Esports well, he finds a perfect knock onto on top Sir. At the same time, Leo gets a confirmation also. So that means the numbers of DE Red Eyes are dwindling down again. They're left with only 2 players. One player was eliminated by IHC, one player has been eliminated by Maptex Esports. So things are definitely looking a bit shaky for the players of Dead Eyes. On the other side, Maptex, well, like you mentioned, they have the perfect control from the northern side.
They definitely do. All they need to now figure out is how much of an aggressive force can they be, because we know Baron, Leo, Wally, I mean, these lads are aggressive when they want to be, and perhaps that's exactly what the thing is. You know, we keep on questioning it, but that probably isn't the right question, because it's only day 2. They don't want to be able to showcase all of that. Right now, they're being very subtle about it, and that subtleness is being showcased through the zone rotations that we're looking at from their side, or the zone read and then their rotations coming in, which is all working out perfectly for them. And as time progresses on, maybe that is where we shall see Mabitex rise up to the occasion as well. Same could be said for IHC. IHC, on the other front, are going completely opposite to what Mabitex is doing, because IHC, they are going for complete aggression through and through, so as to understand the firepower that this lobby is bringing in this year, in the spring season. And once they understand that, they already know that they're able to get into the zone. They just need to get synergized a little bit more, and then they're going to be flying through all the way to the top of the leaderboard, because that's what they gave a little bit of a glimpse of on day 1. But right now, we've got Seal Esports' Arrow coming in from low against the players of DE. Shifuso is going to be at the flank angle. That is what Arrow wants to be able to capitalize upon, but he does not know IHC's one player is there. I don't think he knows, and that could be a cause for concern.
I just love the DBS meta right now. Look at Becca, he's having a DBS. Even his own teammate is having double M416, two M416, but instead he's switching for DBS. Even in the later stages, even in the final circles of Miramar, since last PMPL, we have been witnessing the DBS meta, and it's always fun to watch. But right now, IHC Esports is showing on the doorsteps of Aptex Esports with only one player in that particular compound. The other one is bleeding out. So let's see, Alex is looking for the confirmation, and Venom has been taken down. So Aptex Esports, well, their misery starts now because the numbers are definitely not in their favor with only 2 men standing. And Demo, well, he needs to heal up really fast. Alex get the confirmation onto Leo OP. Now, Kese. Somehow he has to escape. Somehow he has to make a quick escape from the situation. On the other side, we have the players of Steel also. Sanchir taking down one of the player of Intention.
Well, what is DE2 trying to do? SKYLIGHTZ Gaming Mafia Ninja is right on top of him. True love, sir. There ain't no love on this mountain, mate. Run away, Mafia Ninja. Thankfully, from a third party, I believe. Oh, no. It's from DE's teammate, True Love's teammate, Shifu, sir, who's going to be providing that cover fire, that retaliatory fire, which in turn is going to, of course, have SKYLIGHTZ Gaming players fall back a little bit. But for how long, though? Because, again, they know exactly the crevasse that DE's players is stuck in at. As all of that was going on, Bad Intentions players have lost the track of this final game of Miramar for the day as they bid adieu into the lobby.
Well, certainly the way SKYLIGHTZ Gaming are holding different angles and having the height advantage onto the players of DEADEYES. DEADEYES need to be very, very careful in this situation. On the other side, somewhere else on the map, the players of A+B+C+D are also getting taken down. DRS Gyante has been knocked out by a vehicle explosion. What just happened? I wanted to see this. Stalwart Esports IC is going to capitalize. At the same time, I8Fizz is going to capitalize and will get the confirmation onto the players of DRS, but SITM0 is in a close to come back with the players of A+B+C+D, and looks like he's going to get taken down.
Absolutely, SITM right off the bat from this game were not looking too good, and now they're left with just a one-man army. So definitely quite a lot has gone wrong in terms of the drop that they chose to be a part of. Whereas for A+B+C+D, this is just the start perhaps from the looks of it, because they were just able to get 2 defeat points for themselves by eliminating SITM's 2 players. But in all of this, they've already lost one of their biggest backups, one of their biggest rock of the team of ASL. That's going to be Sleepy. That's okay, though. We'll come back to them later as we've got SEAL Esports to talk more about, as they've already got 3 defeat points confirmed for them. And now, from the edges of the mountain that they were on, they're going to be running in towards the zone, perhaps to find a better positioning. But also, while they do this, I do believe SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, yeah, exactly, SKYLIGHTZ Gaming is right around the corner as well. So that's going to be a bit of a tricky position for SEAL Esports to try and take over. But look at that Spider-Man move coming in from that buggy as they get on top of that ridge and that mountain. And now it could be SKYLIGHTZ Gaming who are going to have to, of course, hold the fort for themselves, or it is soon going to be contested. And that's exactly what's happening from SEAL Esports' road.
Well, certainly, SKYLIGHTZ Gaming Mafia Ninja with the height advantage. He's trying to do some damage on the side of IHC, and Zoil is also closing in the distance. Least does he know, Mafia is ready with the grenade, and Zoil is also trying to do the same. Let's see who is going to lob the perfect projectile. The height advantage which Mafia Ninja is having. Even IHC do have the numbers advantage. Mafia Ninja is in an advantageous position right now, but Zoil need to be a bit careful as a cavalry. The backup of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming might be coming in any minute, and Zoil has taken a lot of damage because of fall damage. On the other side, SKYLIGHTZ Gaming No Fear is engaging in a fight with the players of IHC, and the same time DRS also. Godless has been knocked down, but DRS Delta has also been knocked down, and No Fear gets a confirmation also. That means SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, at the way they are keeping multiple fronts checked, they are picking up the players also at the same time.
They're playing a very long game right here, SKYLIGHTZ Gaming. They know that the mountain information is very, very critical and important, and therefore they've got themselves segregated in 2 individual flank angle positions, which is working out lovely. But it's also a point of concern because once more teams start, getting closer and closer to the position of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, it is going to get brutal for them. As right now, we had just seen IHC try to do exactly the same, and from the other side, it was SEAL Esports. Nevertheless, We'll come back to that fight because right now we still do have 47 players remaining, 15 teams in total, and it is Elementrix's player Frag who is up on top. It took him forever to reach there, and sadly, there is no way that he can be provided a revival from that position.
Oh no. This is what happened when you want to be the king of the hills. I do
Exactly.
remember
If you're
Elementrix
not careful.
always. Elementrix as a team in the past also they wanted to have the height advantage in the map of Miramar, and I do remember in season 2 also they had trouble coming down from that height advantage, and that is exactly what is happening with Frag also. Even if he takes a jump, the fall damage is going to finish him off.
Absolutely. And
And
now,
he
though,
do jumps.
for now, that is exactly what he can do because the zone is catching up to them, is all I was going to say. And this, in turn, is pushing quite a lot of these players who find themselves on top of these ridges and mountains, falling down and losing out quite a lot of their health. But still, the game pushes on forth. We're left with 14 teams as SI team's final player will, of course, be eliminated earlier. This is a very difficult position that they are in. From one side, T2K is looking okay in the compound that they're in. For ASL, the trouble that is brewing for them is the zone that's going to be caught up to them, and same is the case for T2K as well. T2K, the only way that they can get out of there is from beating ASL to their game. But up on top behind the mountain, that has also been taken over. So it is a very difficult position that both these teams are in. And they need to get out of there because they need to get into, of course, the zone. And with that, DRS lose out on their final player, KiloYT. He goes down. And there we are left with only 13 teams remaining. But Leo's Liquid was not going to be able to sustain that for long because he was being sprayed on upon. And I believe it was from up on top. It was SKYLIGHTZ, or was it Esports? I believe it was SKYLIGHTZ Gaming. Yep, they definitely are the ones who are looking directly at that hut. And what a perfect controlled game once again that SKYLIGHTZ Gaming are showcasing right here, which in turn has put in a full stop to so many individual opponents that SKYLIGHTZ have come across. But all in all, they've only got 2 defeat points. So yeah, they've got a really good position. Yes, they understand where all the opponents are, but if you don't have those elimination points, then you're kind of missing the mark from the game.
Well, the team that is looking for the elimination point right now is going to be A+B+C+D as they're closing the distance towards the compound of T2K, and doing so, Chori takes a hefty damage and Gangsta has been taken out. Chol also goes down through the hands of Jane. AKM Sanhok gets a confirmation also, and the last player of A+B+C+D also bids bye-bye. Team T2K will have managed to eliminate the entirety of A+B+C+D and have grabbed 3 defeat points for themselves. At the same time, the compound control is still with them, but Sanhok out there in the open takes a lot of damage. The shots were coming. He has no idea from exactly where, but Stalwart Esports are going up against the players of I8, and Sky was trying to come from the height advantage from a flank angle, but now he has also been finished off. That means Stalwart Esports have good defeat points for themselves, and I8, well, they have been eliminated.
Indeed, thus remaining only 33 players right now, and SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, I mean, this no fear play that has been showcased from him is definitely bringing in quite a lot of damage to quite a number of teams in the lobby. Right now, it's of course Wally from Mabitex. Right close to him was his teammate Kese. Of course, SKYLIGHTZ Gaming also know the positioning of Leo Esports, and Leo Esports, they are hunkered down no matter where they go. The sprays keep on coming in, the tap shots keep on coming in from the Mini 14, and in doing so, it seems like slowly but surely, SKYLIGHTZ Gaming have brought up their number of elimination points to 5 right now. And it's still too early to say if it will provide them any more points. Oh, never mind, as we do have IHC still alive. They're going to be hunkering down the positioning of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, as AJ was dropped down, but that was only a knock. An elimination has not yet been confirmed. Mabitex do sadly get eliminated. 9 teams remaining, of course. Now, the zone is still too very open. We've got DE's on top, sir, I believe he is, who's right in the center, pretty much in the center of the zone. The yellow dot that we can see in the top right hand side of our screens. But apart from that, all the other teams that are in the open. SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, they're finally, it seems like, going to be leaving the top mountain that they were a part of. But right behind them is IHC. And that is something that they are going to have to be very, very careful of.
I just love the way No Fear is playing right now. He is having so much information onto so many players and the opponents, but right now his own teammate Mafia Ninja needs a revival, and looks like the rescue mission is going on. But they have to be very careful because the players of IFC are in the close proximity, and from the upper angle, No Fear was trying to dish out a lot of damage, but was not able to do so. But Demo, takes down Age of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, and now the problem begins for the players of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming. Mafia Ninja is again back in the game, but now AJ is bleeding out at a very fast speed and looks like there is no way to save him. But from the backlines, Nima is providing the necessary cover fire required, keeping Zoil at a distance.
Absolutely, but again, the distance is too far out. But one thing that's going on in the favor of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming is, of course, the way they've, like I was saying earlier, flanked those mountains, the positioning that they've created for themselves. But IHC's Alex and that nade is going to be bringing down the players of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming. Zeol himself does go down from the side of IHC, but IHC's Alex, he's been the main point of retaliation from the side of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, and the way SKYLIGHTZ Gaming were able to control that position, well, it seems like IHC understood it perfectly and now have completely turned the positions around. And we'll have to see how exactly SKYLIGHTZ Gaming going to be creating an opening, because as we were talking about it earlier, being on two individual mountains to create a flank angle and get the height advantage is really good. But once you get sprayed on upon and you go down, you get knocked, then getting a revival and getting a cover fire becomes very, very difficult. Right here, we've got another fight brewing where T2K is down on the road. The zone is going to be catching up to them. The Blues is going to be catching up to them. But the Stalwart team is right around the corner as well. And it seems like T2K Suyog is the man who's going to be leading on to bring on a perfect spray, and thus a 3v3 situation being created between Stalwart and T2K. The nades is what needs to be thrown right now, and Stalwart, utilizing those to perfection, could be drawing this game towards their own end. T2K have this beautiful cover, and this cover is going to be helping them quite a lot. So Yog, all those nades just keep dropping down, but this small little leaflet that he's got, the jump ramp that he's got, it helps him tenfold.
Well, certainly on the other side, the players of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming are also getting few good knocks, but T2K, they have been punished by the players of 4MV. 4MV having the height advantage from the uphill angle eliminates all the players of T2K, and now we are left with only 5 teams, 16 players. Stalwart Esports are trying to move inside the circle from the southern side. That is exactly where the players of NB Esports, 4MV, are also present. That means the entire northern control is in the hands of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming. At the same time, with the players of DEADEYES, this could be the game for them. They can create a comeback story in this particular one. But right now, the main action is happening on the southern side, and Mondo from the side of North NB Esports, well, he's need to heal himself as soon as possible. But the grenades that are coming in the side of 4MV, they are going to be so very deadly.
Oh, they most certainly are, because 4MV is not yet done from this game. Even though they must have lost out on one of their players that's going to be refused, the game is still very much on, and it is going to be against the players of Stalwart, where it is a 2v3 situation between 4MV and Stalwart just pushing on with the perfect controlled UMP push that they've made. It seems like 4MW, they are at a loss in this fight, and they are going to lose out on the entirety of the war itself, because they've been eliminated. 4 teams remaining. Stalwart moving on with a really good momentum, but now pushing on with Mondo as his vector, and he is going to be spraying down a perfectly controlled... Oh, what a timing Mondo that was from NB Esports, because that has provided a clear chicken dinner to the team of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming now.
Well, the possibility is definitely there. No, NB Esports, they have to move a little inside the circle. They are 80 meters something away from the circle. The smokes are being lobbed to provide the necessary cover that they need, the soft cover they need in this situation, but they can't escape from the shots that are coming from the side of No Fear. I'm so very impressed by the way No Fear has been playing in this particular one. The way he is dishing out so much damage, 10 defeat points already, and out of that, 5 defeat points to the single lad. And for now, the players of North NB Esports, well, they are falling down, they are crumbling down. They're left with only 2 players and No Fear with that 2014. Well, NB Esports, so you guys better don't come out in the open, because No Fear is definitely not having any fear in shooting in your direction.
Absolutely, and that is something that, of course, NB cannot do much about, because NB Esports, they are stuck in a bit of a rut right now. They've only got this position and nothing else. Though I do want to focus on the third player as well, or rather the third team as well. We've got SKYLIGHTZ Gaming up on top of the mountain. DE, there we go. DE has been so very quiet. They've been in that compound for a very long time. And of course, for SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, they've been around that mountain ridge for forever in this game. But they've worked for it. You know, they went against IHC, they went against Seal when they pushed on to the mountain for SKYLIGHTZ Gaming. But now it all boils down to how exactly can SKYLIGHTZ Gaming win this game and get it in the bag, get the chicken dinner in the bag for themselves, the first chicken dinner, I believe, for them, as we do have not only these two players from the side of NB Esports that they need to worry about, but also the two players in the compound in the back from DE as well.
Well, certainly, but SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, they are looking so very strong in this particular one, and NB Esports, they have nowhere to go. The Molotovs, the grenades that might be coming in from the side of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, they have to escape, but they can't escape as Nima finds a perfect projectile and takes down one player, leaving Sek all by himself, and with that M416, Mafia Ninja is going to put an end to him also. That means NB Esports has been eliminated. Now we are left with only two teams, that is DEADEYES and SKYLIGHTZ Gaming. The numbers are definitely in the favor of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, but DEADEYES, they have a hard compound, they have a compound to their name, so SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, they are trying to close in the distance. This is something DEADEYES have to make sure that don't allow SKYLIGHTZ to close in the distance, don't allow SKYLIGHTZ to come near the compound. That is the only way DEADEYES can get this outnumbered fight in their favor.
Well, the flank also that SG works with. I mean, SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, the best part about them is the flank that they've been utilizing again and again. When they were pushed on previously as well, it was the flank that helped them out from a different mountain range altogether. The flank that opened up when, of course, SG saw one of their players, AJ, go down. But never mind, none of that matters anymore, because now it's all boiling down to, of course, 4v2 situation. They know pretty much where the players of this final team are at. Of course, the nade is going to be thrown. It is a 1v1 situation between True Love Sir against a UMP in his hand. And that will be the exact same gun that his teammate is going to be using as well. But True Love Sir, he tries his level best, jumps on across, but he will be the one bringing down AJ. AJ tries the jump approach, but the jump angle does not work for him. That means AJ goes down. Nima is down to almost liver of HP. But in all of that, the backhand angle is going to be the one creating a perfect opening. And that will be what SKYLIGHTZ Gaming is going to be ending the day with 13 eliminations, 23 points in total from this game, and of course finding themselves on the 6th position in the overall ranking. And we are back, of course, right here with the final game done of the day. SKYLIGHTZ Gaming walking away with a perfect chicken dinner for themselves. Exactly what they were working towards, exactly what the zone provided them with. And in the end, they had to go through so many individual teams, and they fought their way valiantly to get that in the bag. But again, you have to give props to DE as well, because DE, they stood their ground for as long as they possibly could with just a two-man army.
With just a 2-man army, and for a second I thought my prediction is going to come true. I'm going to get one correct prediction. Finally, the DE will get the chicken dinner, but the numbers advantage were definitely in the favor of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming. Not just a numbers advantage, the momentum which SKYLIGHTZ Gaming had in this particular game. Kudos to No Fear. I was so very impressed by the way he was playing.
True.
The damage that this guy was dishing out was phenomenal. No Fear is definitely, if he is not the MVP, I'm disappointed.
Well, he better be. I'm sure he's done a lot of damage, because that is something that we saw again and again going on from his side, and that of course worked out in his favor. But now it all boils down to, of course, the first things first, which we always talk about, which is going to be the MVP itself. And the MVP, like you said, should better be him. Well, we are going to find out real soon. But along with all of that, you know, another thing that we need to figure out is that now we've got so many individual teams slowly rising up to the occasion. 2 days are done, and this is just the start of the league. We are going to find out what exactly is going to happen on day 3 later. But right now, let's jump in and talk about that MVP.
And it's none other than No Fear. Look at the amount of damage that he was dishing out. 1492 damage and 5 elimination. This guy was doing so much for the team. And impressive gameplays coming from his side. Even when the rush that was made towards the side of towards the compound of Deadeyes, guys, it was no fear providing the backline support. Even when the players of IHC rushed towards the players of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, it was no fear who was providing that backline support and cover fire required in every single situation in the game.
Absolutely, but again, that is what today's final game had in offer for us. And of course, after that, we still are left with, I mean, we've only looked at 10 matches in total. So, of course, right now, what we need to do is talk about the top players from the game and then quickly rush on through.
Well, certainly we have Niyama from the side of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming with 5 eliminations, and then we have 4MV Doc922 with 2 eliminations but a very high damage number. Then we have Tops from the side of Stalwart Esports with 3 elimination and a very high damage, and then we have Action from the side of Stalwart Esports with 3 elimination and 653 damage that he was dishing out.
Well. Now, this is once again the rise of Stalwart, so to say. Same, of course, can be said for SKYLIGHTZ as well. Based on the stats that they're showcasing over here on day 2, slowly but surely they're going to be pushing on ahead, and no fear, as you were mentioning, of course, the damage goes on in his favor, but this is just the start for SKYLIGHTZ Gaming. And now they're going to be, of course, retaliating to the point lead that 4MV have created in the overall ranking. But pushing ahead towards the match ranking itself, Deadeyes, guys, as you had mentioned, where are they missing? This time around, they stood the ground, pushed themselves to the 5th spot, and moving on to the second page. Now, this is where, sadly, quite a lot of these names that we expected to have a good game did not end up doing so.
Well, certainly few bad games, few good games, but it was only day number 2. So many, but I was very impressed to see that the teams who were not able to perform on day number 1, they started creating a comeback story on day number 2, and this is very crucial. If you start performing on day number 2 itself, the rest of the days of the week are going to be so very easy for you.
Absolutely, but again, every single day is a fight, every single match is a fight, and so even though you might have a momentum going in your favor, there's always the fear in the back of your head that you just don't know where it's going to go in the end. And that is something that, of course, these players grind for again and again and again. And that is what leads them to all of this huge opportunity, which, again, after all, we still are, of course, looking to find out a couple of teams. Like, for example, we've spoken about Raw, we've spoken about Seal Esports, and there are others as well who've kind of gone down. NB is going to be one of those, for example. When are they going to rise up? But for now, let's move ahead and have a look at the highlights and, of course, do the recap of this final game, where we start off with that perfect position that we saw no fear in, with his mini 14 in the hand. And this is where only top 4 teams were remaining. And this is when I thought Stalwart has made a rise, has made a comeback, but then Mondo comes in along with a strong force and just completely obliterates the players of Stalwart.
Well, certainly, Stalwart Esports, day number 2 was definitely in their favor as compared to day number 1, where they were getting decent placement, decent points. I won't say decent placement points, decent points for themselves. But they started the day on a very good note, because the last game of yesterday, they placed 3rd with 4 elimination points. But in match number 7, they started performing, they started doing a comeback, and Stalwart Esports, well, right now they're in top 5, if I'm not wrong. I think they are in top 5.
Well, they are definitely looking very, very good and stable in terms of their positioning. And also because they've been, like you said, consistently, slowly but surely working towards those points for themselves. So most certainly we are going to confirm that through the overall ranking right now. So let's go ahead and talk about that, and also confirm to our viewers what do we have and how big a leap has 4 Miracle Vibes created. One chicken dinner win is what they got today, but apart from that, they've got 91 total points compared to Leo Esports sitting on the 2nd position with 73, and then you push on down to 62. That is what ASL is sitting at with again, I mean, the amount of difference that we've got going on. And then on the second page, the final position right there on the 20th is going to be Seal Esports with 12 points based on the 12 eliminations that they've got. So it's big difference that needs to be covered up, if at all. Deadeyes, guys, Seal Esports, even for that matter, Elementrix, Raw, Bad Intentions need to be able to reach into the bonus game and also the finals itself, because this is just the start of the league, and the journey continues on, just goes further and further, higher and higher in terms of numbers.
Certainly, the journey has just started. Day number 1 was in favor of few teams. Day number 2 was in favor of some other teams. So day number 3 we still have, but before day number 3 we have a break, and the break is going to change so many things, Blotter, because now the teams that are going to sit with their analysts and the coaches, and they're going to re-strategize what is going on wrong. How can they counter the strategies or the rotations of the top teams and have a fight with them? So day number 3 is definitely going to bring a lot more action and few new things also.
It is going to be a critical one. That's most certainly, I mean, the most important day for week 1, of course, because that is when we'll see a big change in terms of the play that is being made, especially from the teams that are sitting on the second page of the leaderboard. At least that is what my hope is, because I would love for them to be able to, showcase that hunger that is needed for them to, of course, be a part of the bonus game and then moving ahead with that momentum into week 2. But of course, like you said, I mean, day 1 and 2 are done and dusted. We've got the league started, and now tomorrow they'll get a day off. They'll get some time off. But again, that's time off. But there's so much research to do to understand what are we going to do and what can we change to do better, so that day 3 onwards we can start rising up the ranks and, of course, get closer and closer to that prize pool of $80,000.
Well, certainly day number 3 we all are waiting for, but day number 2 was also very impressive. Any particular team, Blotter, that impressed you the most in this particular day?
Well, if you're talking about just today itself, I'm definitely going to be talking about 4MV. The way that they've been playing, it is most certainly a team to look out for, to watch out for. Another team that can be brought in the names is, of course, going to be the likes of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming as well, because today this is not the only game that they showcase their true colors, right? In the previous game that I was talking about, they finished with 10 elimination points, previous third game basically. So definitely SKYLIGHTZ Gaming is another one that is on the rise. But overall, I'm sure there are still more teams that are slowly changing the playstyle altogether. IHC is one of those that did not have a good day today, sadly. But again, like I said, DR is another one that did not have a good day today. But like I said, it is just the start, just 2 days done. It is going to change day 3 onwards. Most important day, I believe, is going to be day 3.
Well, certainly after that, 50% of the matches of week number 1 are going to be over. So day 3 is going to be so very crucial for all these teams, because doing a comeback after day number 3 on day 4 or day 5 is not going to be so easy, because the pressure is going to be mounting on your shoulder. At the same time, the opponents do have a read on you also. So it's not going to be so easy. Even the point difference between the top teams and the bottom teams is going to be so much that it's not so easy to cover up. Like Venom D, just right in one good game, they managed to go to the top 3 position from the bottom. So yes, at this stage you can do a comeback. Talking about Venom D also, this team also impressed me quite a lot in today's game. The way they performed really went in back-to-back 2 games.
Absolutely, but again, that is all the stats and so much more that we can actually bring up and talk about. But again, that is where day 2 of our PMPL South Asia Spring Season 2023 comes to an end. We are definitely going to be coming back day after with another set of games and, of course, the same set of teams, but the play style is going to change, and that leaderboard, the storyboard, is most certainly going to be changing as well. Thank you all so very much for tuning in. Do not forget to click that subscribe button so that you stay updated with all the action that's taking place right here at PMPL South Asia. Until next one, take care. Bye-bye.